Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
Bob, we don't have a job to do.
Oh, thank God.
KZ Excellent. Blah, 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 blah. And Mr. Feel.
You think you're hot shit? Break this rock with your hands.
Here on GigaBoots.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Call of Duty Vanguard spoiler cast. Don't. Bob?
Yeah, don't.
Okay, we're done with the Call of Duty Vanguard spoiler cast.
All right, Bob, what did you play this week?
Call of Duty Vanguard. I want to say a couple of remarks on it because it's fascinating in one particular way. This game's campaign, there's a good 30 or 40% of it that is what I feel like the residue of what somebody who's never played Call of Duty thinks a Call of Duty campaign is. Would you agree, Bob?
Something like that. Yeah, it's just weird.
It's like, you're a shooter, man. I guess you're going to Germany. Go down this content hallway that doesn't have set pieces or anything.
It doesn't seem to have people talking to you. Just walk and hope. There's a marker on the map.
Yeah, it's really weird. We were like, there's no way Call of Duty Vanguard's more boring than the Order 1886, so it's an upgrade week over week, hands down. And it was still an upgrade because it was fascinating. And the game improves from that point. You know, when they start integrating, the whole fact that you're a team and stop doing flashbacks.
You're talking about the final mission.
I know. Also, everything about Petra, I believe. Polika?
Something
I can't
like that.
remember. Petra Polanov, I think it was. Polina, that's what it was. Her stuff seemed done.
Yeah, it seemed like she was the main character, and for some reason they belted on like 4 other people.
Yeah, I during the stream I made the joke of, do you think she was the main character, and then Battlefield got its backlash over ladies in war and Call of Duty buckled?
Maybe. Oh. Yeah, it feels a little bit like that.
Because all of her levels feel realized in a way none of the others does. She has a bad guy. She has an arch.
Yeah.
Arthur doesn't have an arch.
No.
Arthur's your team leader. He doesn't have an arch.
Yeah, they try and sell Arthur on being the main character. It just doesn't work.
At all. Not in the least. He doesn't have a great personality. His segment is, I fought in a terrible generic World War II shooter.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's supposed to endear you to Arthur.
Man, that's a lot of texture.
It's real rough, but she has really cool stuff. You know, she's got climbing. She's got some sniper battle stuff that's really fucking extra, where you've got this sniper down on you in this building with multiple floors on it that's really destroyed and shit. You're making your way around and you're holding up your knife. They have a hold up knife mechanic to make the sniper think your scope is causing a glint. And so the sniper will then shoot, and then you can nail him in the chest, and when you do, he explodes into smoke and moves. And I'm like, this is a Metal Gear battle. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. It's just for her. The rest of the game is not that realized.
Yeah, like the plane guy?
You mean the American?
Yeah, the American who flies a plane. The planes are awful.
Yeah, that shit. That shit looked nowhere near done.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking putting this flying mission in. It's not done at all.
Like, you could look at it move and tell they've never figured this out, I guess. I don't know. Which is weird because what was it? Infinite Warfare has the spaceship shit, right?
Yes. Infinite Warfare has like realized plane flying.
And it's weird because this is so much jankier.
Yeah.
So much jankier. And then the rest of the game's like a gray morass of nothing. And an ending that sets up for a sequel to Call of Duty Vanguard.
Yeah.
That is the funniest thing to come out of this whole thing.
It was so bold.
And Family Guy cutaways.
Oh, God, that's right. The American. Thank you. I totally would have forgot to bring up. They do these flashbacks, and they're sort of tied into the story, right? They do the flashback to Arthur to show you why he's the leader, which they don't, but that's what they say is why they're showing it. They do the flashback to show you Polina and why she's invested. And then the American gets into this Nazi interrogation room. He gets punched in the face and he goes, man, you make me wish I was in the Middle East, just like that one time. And then it cuts to fucking Pacific. And I'm like, what's going on? This is a Family Guy bit. What the hell?
Hey, Lois, remember when I fought the Tojo?
No! You can call me Anna. Yeah, no, it's terrible. We were having a stroke for a minute straight on stream. It was so intense.
And that led into like that awful flying mission too. So it was just like there's nothing to talk about in the game other than
we're
it's bad. And then the other side of like, why is it Family Guy too?
Your writing for your very serious World War shooter should not remind me of Family Guy.
What? The CIA agent that wrote that game really likes Family Guy.
Who wrote this year's Call of Duty? Why do they not have last names? What do you mean it is in fact a giant like fish tub full of dolphins bopping balls around?
Oh yeah, the manatees that bump the balls. I was trying to remember where you were going. I'm like, oh yeah, the South Park episode.
Yeah, that's all I could think of. It's just like, man, this is rough.
That episode is 15 years old.
It's really good because it's just like you watch them write the game and it's like Arthur is black and a leader and you go, that's not a character? You forgot to write a character. Those are the only two balls they could shove into his box.
Well, don't worry. There's the other guy who's Australian and
Oh no!
God. Is this game story from 7th gen?
There is no 7th gen Call of Duty that I feel was this insanely bad.
That last chunk of the end of the game was the most
Have you played World of War's campaign?
World at War. Oh god, keeping the fucking World War II themed ones straight is so difficult. World at War is the 5th game, is that right?
I think
it's the one. I remember there was a World War one right after Modern Warfare.
Yes,
yeah,
so nobody gave a fuck
that would
about.
Be 5.
I remember people. There's at least a select group of people who love that one.
Yeah, no one's gonna come out of this one loving it. Not one person will come out of Vanguard loving it. I remember playing World at War. I was disappointed that it went back to World War II.
Like every time they do it.
Right, like every time. Like your fucking alcoholic son, Call of Duty, who just can't get sober. Yeah, I was disappointed. It still had some neat stuff. I remember they added a couple neat things, but this is for no one. I can't stress how much it's just like this game's unreal, and the fact they pulled that, because it felt like the Universal Horror Cinematic Universe when they at the end they're like, you're gonna come back for more, and I'm like, what? We're gonna what? What do you mean there's a Vanguard 2?
We're announcing our filler year in advance.
Also, they even tied it into like zombie mode and other stuff. And then they added a cutscene into Cold War that introduced characters from Vanguard, or a character that narrates in Vanguard. It's real weird. None of this matters, though. We're done talking about Vanguard.
Oh, good.
Now we're going to talk about the fact they added Frank from Donnie Darko to the fucking Call of Duty Warzone / Cold War multiplayer. It costs $20. I spent it in a heartbeat because his finisher move is to drop a turbine on the enemy. And that's the funniest shit in the world if you've seen that movie. And even if you haven't seen that movie, watching a dude in a giant rabbit suit ride a tank into battle is unbelievably funny.
That greeting card just being him in the movie theater.
Yes! Just Donnie in the foreground, Frank in the background.
God. This is the most insane Call of Duty or any crossover I can think of.
Oh, yeah. No, Fortnite has not hit this tier of, excuse me. Because how could you?
Like, for people who don't know,
Not even with the Martin Luther King thing?
That's true. There is that. But Martin Luther King's important. Donnie Darko in this grand scheme of things, not important.
Yeah, they had really the two kings of unimportant early aughts, where they had Frank and then they had Ghostface from Scream.
Yes.
It's like Donnie Darko is like this dramatic film.
Very serious, very straightforward.
That feels indie.
It is. It is. It's a low budget film.
Yeah. You don't expect that in Call of Duty.
No. It's insane. Like, now predictions are anywhere, right?
Yeah, they could bring anything in.
Anything. When they did John McClane and Rambo, that was like, okay, well, you're doing the action movie thing. Now it's like they're going to do anything that's in my brain. They're just picking it from my brain. Somebody made the joke earlier of fucking Brad Pitt. Tyler Durden is going to be in the game. I'm like, oh, God.
Oh,
That's a lot. But yeah, that was fun. Cold War still feels great. The multiplayer in Vanguard also felt bad,
Yeah, it did.
which is weird.
Yeah, people were like warping around the map constantly, and it wasn't.
And
it
we're
wasn't
not
normal bad.
We're not talking we're playing a match and then, oh yeah, they did it again. No, constantly. Like their movement did not look right at all. And in the stream, you can see me go directly from Vanguard's multiplayer to Cold War, and you can see it stops that. Because they're literally jittering around the map. They don't move between spots in Vanguard's multiplayer. Also, it's a World War II shooter, so bleh.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyways, that's all the Call of Duty talk. We're done with the Call of Duty talk. Hey, Bob.
Hey.
What have you been playing?
Well, I actually ended up eating something interesting.
Ooh.
Okay, we'll do that before I talk about Megaten.
I went to Firehouse subs because like I haven't had this in a long time. I'm tired of the public spread for subs. But then I saw on their menu they had this new limited time item, the Firehouse barbecue Cuban.
Is a
that
Cuban
doesn't
something you
sound
want in
bad.
barbecue?
Well, a lot of times they use barbecue chicken for barbecue pork because like pulled pork on it.
Okay.
So I see where they're coming from.
Okay.
So it has ham, it's got pulled pork, and then it's topped with coleslaw with a weird sauce. So I think that it actually was pretty solid, just those main ingredients, the ham and pork. But the coleslaw is really strange.
yeah, that is very bizarre.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't go that well with it, but it was still fine. Like, if you like Cubans, I would still get it. Because this is, like, that was a solid barbecue pork on it. I was surprised. So that was pretty good. I had that today before the podcast.
That's cool. Glad that was good. I thought this was going to be yet another in the long and storied franchise of Bob saw a thing on a menu that was new and he ordered it and it was bad.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad. It just was like, I probably would want this without the coleslaw.
Yeah, no, that seems like a really weird addition. I don't know why you do that.
And I did play some other games. Did you want to talk about Shin Megami before that or not?
Well, that depends. What are the other games?
I played Gundam Battle Operation Code Fairy.
You know what? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
People remember Bob talked about this game weeks ago when it was announced it was coming over. Maybe a couple months. This is the Gundam game that's like, how would you describe it, Bob?
They built it out of the Battle Operation game, which is a multiplayer only game. But it's about the squad of girls who are in Zeon during a 1 year war invading North America. It's pretty neat. Like, if you haven't played Battle Operation, it plays like a shooter, but it's super slow, like intentionally so. It takes a long while to reload your bazooka. Just moving around feels clunky because you're in Big Macs.
Big Macs.
Big Macs.
I like that. I feel like something I really liked in the very original Gundam, which they immediately got rid of and never did again, was just how all the mechs were big dipshits when they weren't in space.
Yes.
It's like these are really made to be in space. So on Earth, they're like doing tactics like crouching behind another enemy as someone pushes them, like doing playground tactics on the enemy.
Yeah, you can actually crouch down. There's a button for that. You can go prone. You do have a tackle, which like burns all your energy, and you can use it to counter. Like if someone does a melee attack and you do the tackle, you actually do this like cool throw them to the ground technique. I was like, this is all pretty solid. It's neat. I'm glad that they took this framework they wrote for this multiplayer game that I probably won't play much at all. It made it into a single player story that they actually seem to have put money into. There's an anime opening. There's actually anime cutscenes in the middle of this game frequently.
Whoa.
For the story. And then a bunch of fully voiced Japanese dialogue. They did not dub this for some reason. Because, they just won't.
Namco Bandai, they learned that they don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really frustrating. It's like, this could have done a lot better, man. But they have fully animated sprites that are for all the talking scenes too. And they look pretty good, like have decent mouse flaps and sometimes have unique animations and stuff for certain situations. So I was super impressed by like how much work was put into this to make more than just, here's a multiplayer game with or in a single player mode that we made. You have 3 main pilots. It seems like I'm only controlling one pilot so far, but that could expand to the other three because all three of them are leveling up and each of them have their own mobile suit they pilot. I only got to play a few missions, so I don't know a ton of how it's going to expand out, but it looks, you know, it looks like it's going to be good. The tone is super weird though, because it's these like, they got the designer from, I think, Darling the Franxx, so all of them are hyper anime looking girls.
Yeah.
And they don't care at all about the repercussions of war.
Oh, okay, cool.
See, what I got just from looking at like screenshots and stuff was like the impression I got was like almost like K-On!-esque, but they're girl boss Xeon war criminals.
Yes, that's really how it feels. It feels like you're watching an episode of K-On! Between these fights.
You're really selling me on this game.
It's absolutely insane.
Is this propaganda for Xeon?
I think so. The opening even shows them drop a colony, and it's like, yeah, we were in our darkest times. It's like,
You are telling me. We're
We just
sorry.
weren't. We weren't in a good space that day.
Yeah, I just had a bad day. Okay, here's my dog.
They're like we're neuroatypical and also minors, and they kill someone.
And you're like, oh.
Someone goes at them, is like, you dropped a colony on someone, and then their Twitter icon goes black.
Yeah, the very first live mission is like, oh man, the Federation has stolen some of our mechs and are using them to try and fool us to get, or like to attack us. It was like, I can't believe they would commit this war crime. It's like, we just talked about you dropping the colony on Australia. You know that, right?
That wasn't a war crime. They warned them. They were like, give us independence or we're going to do this. And the Federation was like, yeah, but we need space slaves, so we can't do that. And then they
We would
dropped the colony.
love to let you free, but here's the thing, pal.
I feel bad for you.
The thing I love about Gundam is just what huge pieces of shit both sides are.
Yeah, they're
They're
really
the fucking worst.
they're really bad, and I feel like they try and like. Zeta doesn't go as hard on the Federation as it should because it does like that thing where they make a separate sect with the Titans. It's like, no, it's-
Aug. Yeah.
No, because the AU is the good guys in that.
The
Okay.
Titans
Are what
the Titans, because the Titans were like, we made this new division to root out any like Xeon in the Federation, and then the Titans joined Xeon in the second half of that show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, come on, just let Federation be as evil as you've written this exact group of the Federation, because obviously that's what you want.
It's time for our punching children break.
My favorite. Can it just be not a break and just be there all the time in Gundam?
It's also one other thing I found really weird is this is like 8 months into the 1 year war. The leader of the squad, the ferry squad, is this woman who's like, yeah, I used to be one of the big pilots, like the Black Tri-Stars or Char Aznable, but I was able to get out of that and see the bigger picture, and now I command this unit. It's like, you did all that within 8 months?
Wow.
You're out of it? Whoa. How'd you manage that?
Very enterprising girl bosses in this game.
Yes.
They're on the up and up. Look out, because they'll drop a colony on you.
So that's all I gotta say about that. I haven't played enough of it to.
Isn't there a weird monetization thing with this where it's like you can buy a part for this much or the whole thing for this much?
Yeah, you can buy individual pieces for the 3 volumes, $20 pop, or you can buy $50 for all 3 volumes at once. I went with just the first volume because I really wasn't sure on it.
Yeah, that's
scary.
understandable.
It also got me really scared when I beat the first mission. It's like, okay, here's some ending credits, and I was like, what are you doing?
It just fucking literally runs fucking Zeta's ending with the fucking US theme, which is just a random theme song.
Wow, that was slightly longer than Destiny 1.
But luckily, it goes to another episode after that. I don't need to buy another whole volume.
That's insane. That's really funny.
Cool. I guess we could talk about Mega 10 now. How many other games do you have?
I also finished up Tales of the Rise, and I played from Forza Horizon 5, which I think that multiple of us
Yes,
played.
okay. So for those, it's multiple people have played both of those. Let's talk about Mega 10 5 real quick.
Sure.
So I got a code for Shin Megami Tensei 5, so that way we could cover it in time for lunch. this week has been a decent amount of me trying to pay attention to the Shin Megami Tensei 5 thread we have going, so that way I can figure out, because I didn't play 4. Most of my experiences with Nocturne, which for people not keeping up, that was 17 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know why they went straight from 3 to V.
They went to 3 to 4 to 4A to V. We're trying to fuse the letter. Look, what we just witnessed was a fucking alphanumeric takeover.
You know, if they didn't, they were going to make Strange Journey on DS4. And then they pivoted at the last second when they went, this isn't even in Japan. This is when a bunch of military people across the UN go to a portal inside Antarctica.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and you're basically like Doom guy in that, but also it's a first person dungeon crawler, so it's a nice.
Yeah, it's a real CBT generator.
Yes. It is.
the part of Strange Journey that will never not give me a stroke, that will always just make me howl hideously, is okay. You find a dark place in one of the dungeons, in one of the sectors is what they're called. You have to get a thing for your demon summoning program that clears up darkness and lets you see in the dark. Then later there's another dark place and it's like, no, this is advanced darkness. Your thing doesn't work on this.
Yes, that game is fucking nightmares.
That's great.
Just have the Dark Place theme stuck in my head now.
Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yes.
I want a Megaten game with voice acting like that has normal acting.
Yes.
My God, Nahobino. It must be the devil. Anyway, so we got Shin Megami Tensei 5. We did that giving games a chance at launch. Well, actually, a couple hours later because of when the NDA ended. Spent 13 hours in the game. That clip and what I'm going to talk about here is very much not plot centered, because I don't want to spoil that so close to launch for people who are interested. I'm mostly going to talk about the mechanics and the open world stuff and how huge these maps are. Because when I sit there and I think, I've been waiting this long for a console scale Shin Megami game basically since Nocturne, because it took them forever and then they did a 3DS game. And in no world would I have been like even watching the footage from the Nintendo Direct, I'm like, that's a big area. I'm sure you hit a loading screen just past the horizon.
Uh-huh.
But I spent most of the first 8 hours of that game in that first open world because it just goes. It's massive. And it's really great because it does that thing that some JRPGs do where it's just like, you can avoid the enemies to, check this out, avoid the enemies. So if you want to book it to the next ley line, you can totally do that. To make the giant open worlds a lot more traversable, it has these ley line founts, which are just giant blue pillars of light. You can use them to recover, save, do your demon fusion, go to the shop, and also fast travel between all of them. And somewhere around, I believe, 10 hours into the game, you even unlock the ability, if you find it, to recall to the most recent ley line fount. So that makes this massive environment a lot more traversable and really enjoyable on top of what is already an amazing combat system. Because KZ, you saw the game a bit as I was playing it. You were saying that's pretty similar to 4 and 4A.
Yeah, the combat system's pretty much the same. They just replaced the smirking system with the Magatsuhi system that you have in this one.
Yeah, the Magatsi is really good. It's really, really cool that it's just like when you need to absolutely demolish someone, just make sure you enter a battle with the full Magatsuhi gauge. It's because what it will do, the starting ability that you can use out of the gate with the Magatsuhi gauge is critical, where every hit's going to be critical. And as such, because of the combat system of this game, if you do a critical hit or a hit that the enemy's weak to, it only takes half a turn. And you get 1 turn for each person in your party. So full team of 4, you get up to 8 actions if you do it right. If you miss, you lose 2 turns.
Yep, that is the classic.
So every time they're like, you can use this ability, physical ability to hit everyone on the field. It's like low accuracy. I'm like, is it going to work? And I believe we had technical problems. We actually recorded that video twice. I believe the one that made it, though, the one that survived after surgery, has the most hilarious arc of me going, no, it's fine, Bob. I'm going to buff my accuracy. We're going to make it land this time. And that move just keeps missing.
My favorite thing in these press turn combat games is when it's like, I got this. What's the worst that could happen? they repelled that attack. You lose all your turns.
Yeah.
If it bounces, it's the worst it's ever been.
I just remember this meme I saw where it's like missing in Persona, and it's a guy playing the game, and he's like, oh, damn, I missed. It's like missing in SMT. I just lost this whole fucking battle.
Yes!
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
That's accurate.
Oh, absolutely. They have a really cool system in this where you can use demon essences to not only give yourself skills from specific demons or even give other demons specific skills from demons, but you can change what your resistances are. So that way you can key yourself into a boss's specific moveset if you've tried them once. And that's a really good system. I've been reading abroad that this is like harder for an SMT game, or that it is harder for a JRPG in general. Not specifically aware which exactly, because you don't know what the history of these reviewers are, right?
Right. I was like, typically
SMT is not easy. No,
right. It's on the harder side of JRPGs for sure.
Right. It's really cool how many systems they give you to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Like how nice you can craft your team to own this one guy who made you see the game over screen, because fuck him.
Yeah, they got rid of some of the safety nets from 4, where 4, if you died, a ferryman would say, I'll put a tab on you and just bring you back immediately. Or 4A, where they're like, this is a main player character that can just bring you back every time with no cost.
Yeah, and this it's hey, we keep the game over sequence in memory at all times, so that way we can jump directly to that.
Yeah, and then they put you on the title screen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, also, because since the 4 games were portable, you could save anywhere. And here you actually do have to go to those
ley line founts.
You have to go there if you actually want to save, which it was great in 4 because the enemies would appear on the map. And there's one mission in that's like, okay, you have to escort this treasure chest across the entire dungeon, and enemies will appear. And if you take damage, that thing takes damage, and you need to keep its health up. Or when all the enemies are about to hit you, you hit menu, you hit save, you hit load, it despawns all the enemies. And then you just keep doing that.
Oh my God.
And you never get into a fight ever. That game is really fun.
I think if you bring up your menu in this, it will stop every enemy on the overworld from moving.
That's funny.
So if they're dashing at you, and there is a transition time, so you need to do it early enough to do the transition to the pause menu. But if you do that, they'll stop moving when you come back. They'll just be static. So you can use that and game it a bit to move around them. There's an overworld attack where you swing, your character's lightsaber, and one of the miracles you can get is it will give you extra Magatsui at the beginning of a match where you do that, and also I think in general that will give you a turn advantage, by and large, not always, but it'll give you turn advantage more often, I believe. That game is really good. There's not only the main quest line, there are also side quests you'll get from demons, where they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to do research into what was it? Oriental mysticism or magic. Can you go kill 5 Japanese demon dogs? The Inugami? And I was like, that's pretty good. He's like, yeah, bring me 5 of those. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then sometimes you run into some shit like a giant King Frost hanging out in a warehouse, and he's just like, hey. And I'm like, how did you get in here? You're so huge.
Oh, I was about to say, all the demons are just scaled. That thing must be massive.
Oh, it is the warehouse, basically.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's so good. I'm like, holy shit, look at you.
I know, he-ho.
The best part was the loading screen told me about him 10 minutes before I ran into him in the flesh. So I was just like, oh shit, it's him. This dude's huge. I did not get the scale from that loading screen. One of the things I like a lot about this is that even though it's using Unreal Engine 4, everything loads really fast. It isn't one of those games where I feel like the load times weigh it down, which is great because being on the Switch, that could be a problem, and using Unreal Engine 4, that could be a problem. This thing, you get in and out of combat really fast. Doing the fast travel or recalling to ley lines, insanely fast. It all loads really, really quickly. I really appreciate that, and they had to work really hard to make that the case, right? Because if you just use Unreal Engine 4 and you're like, I need you to load the highest quality everything before you display anything, those load times would have been way worse. One of the things they changed about this in regards to prior Megaten games is that instead of getting to customize the full stat point option, so that way I could be an idiot, they give you 3 stat points. Like, they just distribute it into whatever. It seems to be tied to what level you're gaining. So if I go from 11 to 12, seemingly, it will always give me in the same slot, right? Like when I load a save file, it will always be that. But I get to custom deposit 1 stat point. Mm-hmm. So it's like the world's longest travel to make myself Punch Man.
This seems to be a response that every single one of these games, most people, unga and cap something really fast.
Yes, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah, because in SMT3, I think like the cap on stats was like 40. Mm-hmm. And in the SMT4 games, the cap was like 1,000. And they would give you either 5 points or 3 points, and I'm like, put it all in this. Just put it all in magic or all in strength,
of course,
or dex, because those games also had like guns. But they seem to want to avoid you being able to rip things apart really fast.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and maybe like more versatility, so maybe your magic stat ends up being at least almost presentable, even if you don't focus on it.
Somewhat usable.
Right, yeah, they probably have a scheme of like, okay, your guy's going to be really balanced, but you get to choose which thing is buff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is where I'm at, where, I think my strength, like, it's in that video, but I think it's like 10 ahead or something because I kept depositing in that, and that's a winning strategy. Mm-hmm. Especially when I get an almighty move that lets me disregard resistances, but still base the attack's damage on physical strength.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if they have some of the things that 3 and 4 had, where near end game you'll reach a door and it's like, all right, did you invest in luck? People with 30 luck can open this door, and stuff like that, or like you need a lot of strength or a lot of magic, because they try to do that to give you some like end game goodies. It'd be funny if they do that here too.
Yeah, that level up theme is really funny. Yes.
Yeah, it's got good vibes.
It's got a good bit of grunge, and I appreciate that. There's something really good about you're becoming more powerful.
Next time on GT.
Yes. Yeah, this composer's so good. They also finally completely broke the legs of the insta-kill moves in this game. I'm pretty impressed.
Yes, Bob in that video.
Did they?
Yeah, Bob in that video is just shocked when I use a Maha, which is the...
Hama.
Hama, yes, the Hama ability, which is a light-based attack. and it does
damage.
Normal damage, and he's like, that isn't just an insta-kill? And I'm like, see, that's the thing. If they're weak to it, it rolls for an insta-kill. So if you do like a Mahama or whatever, where you're just hitting multiple people all at once, it's rolling for all of them. And I've seen it just insta-kill too.
Yeah, it's really funny because in all the other games up until like 4 Apocalypse, it was just, I'm always going to roll for an insta-kill, and that's the only thing I'm used for.
Yep.
And then 4 Apocalypse went, all right, light and dark are now elements. If you were smirking in that game, it would have the chance to instant kill. Now they're just like, only if it's a weakness, which means if you kit out your main character to resist those or just not be weak to them, then you will never have to worry about getting soloed in a comical way of the insta kill hit you, not the rest of your party, but you're on the title screen.
Yeah, exactly. Because,
I forgot about the opposite side of that coin of, enemies will do a Hama to you.
So make sure you're not weak to those.
Yeah, change your resistance. Make it so holy heals you. Don't even stop at nullifying.
Yeah. The essence stuff seems really good.
Oh, it is.
Because, like, for reference, like 3 had the Magatamas where you would eat them and it would give you, like, your resistances and moves. But you only have one chance to learn the moves in their set, so there's, like, 5 of them. And if you skip out on that one move in that list, you'll never get access to it again on that character. There's like 25 Magatama in that game, but you can like abandon certain builds very fast in it. And
wow.
4 had a thing where as you level up a demon, it's learning moves. Once it's learned all of them, it will whisper to you, and you can choose which moves they have for you to have.
So that's the thing. In this, when you level them up, you'd get essences occasionally. A lot of the time, you'll get random stuff. Like, what was it? One time, I can't remember if it was Mananangal. or Lean and Seed. One of them leveled up, and they were just like, "You smell. Use this."
Oh yeah, they're like, here.
Just gives me a life beat.
Mothman's like, here, I found this cool secret item. I'll give it to you. It's not special anymore. And I'm like, thank you, Mothman.
I didn't run into a Mothman as an enemy yet, but I did run into one as an NPC who's just hanging out next to an abscess, which is this, almost like ribbon-based tree full of evil energy erupting from the ground. And he's hanging out near, and he's just like, this fucking abscess's energy waves are fucking with my head. I'm so lost.
I loved seeing him because you can now see the fur on Mothman, or like the individual feathers, whatever it is. It's really good.
It's like I've never seen a bird that was oiled before. Like Mothman just has that sort of sheen on him. It's really good. I love that each of these demons has their cool lore card that you can just toggle over to in the profile thing to like read about the origins of these things. Because when we hit the Manananggal, Tosh reads the name and she's just like, that has to be Filipino. Look at that name. And we tab over and it's like, yeah, the sure shit, that is a Filipino demon. That's a chick ripped in half that has a tongue coming out of its waist.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's the big benefit of the Mega 10 games, where every single one has a summary of where that demon is actually from, so you can learn about hundreds of different
dope.
types of things. And they're like, it's from this mythology, it's from this thing. Mothman's based on a cryptid you can find in Virginia.
I love that. It feels like the great moment in Castlevania when you get the lore cards on all of those enemies, but they have so much more text here, generally, than Castlevania ever did. Aside from that, I find the combat system really thrilling. Like, it's so good when you get a turn-based game with a really good combat system like this, and I think the press turn system is exceptional.
Yeah.
Also, the fact the game's like, why would you want more than one of a single demon? I'm like, because I want to cheat. They're like, well, you don't get to.
I had to sit Dan down and be like, here's how the compendium works.
Yeah.
Here's why you would register. No, they will not charge you for registering.
Yeah, because the way they display it is the same way they display the cost for using compendium demons for fusions.
Yes.
So when it listed in the corner, I'm like, KZ, this thing looks like it wants to charge me $40 million. He's like, no, it's just telling you that when you do that other thing, you will have to spend $7,000 to get your... No, my Jack Frost was like $20,000 by the end of the year.
Yeah, at the time, I think it was like an angel or something that you were like, it's going to cost me $5,000.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, Dan, you're never going to earn money in this game because you just keep fighting the same 3 bears and then you go back and spend all your money on healing.
No, I'm good now. I figured out early on you want to use a healing spell and then just use the recovery thing in order to refill your MP. But something different, something interesting about this, there are like little light essences in the world, like little orbs that you can pick up to refill your health and MP. So if you know where those are, and you want to spend the time, you could just never use the ley line to recover and just run a route around the open world to pick up some health and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe you'll luck out and get like the MP or the energy drain later, and then put that on every demon you can.
Yeah, I think I did have a demon learn that, but through the multiple recordings of the same fucking video, my brain's completely fried what the actual state of my latest save file is, because I didn't use that for the video.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to use, like, the save file we use for the video is fighting a minor boss that isn't as plot-centric, because you know how sensitive I am to spoilers. I wanted people to be able to watch this video and not have the first 13 hours of the game spoiled.
Yeah.
Which we definitely chose a spot for that. I feel like you basically have no idea what the deal is.
Mm-hmm. That's always good. And, like, the only thing especially new about that is, like, that's a new demon design. That's about it.
Yeah. He's cool. Mm-hmm. He was the guy where I realized, man, this game sells you dampeners for dirt cheap. Do they just want you to cheese this dude this hard?
That is also new to these games, those dampeners where it's like physical dampener.
Yeah, so the shop sells, the cadaver shop, he sells like, for $100 or maca, he sells dampeners. Dampeners can be specific elements like physical, electric, etc. And when you use it, it's going to make a single attack that is of that type not land at all during the next turn. And it's only 100 Maka. So I just, every time this werewolf dude blows his Magatsui gauge, I know his next attack from the first time I fought him is going to be an electric type that does 240 damage, which will one-shot anything, including me. So I just throw an electric dampener down, and then he misses, and his turn's over.
And then he cries.
And then I get back to pounding his face in with Jack Frost.
You're like, I got one person weak to wind. I'll just always be stocked up on these wind things and throw it when I know they probably have it.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate all these different systems they give you to be strong against individual enemy types, and that the bosses are not pushovers by and large.
Oh,
Maybe now, knowing the dampeners are there, they will be. And maybe we'll learn something about most game reviewers' reticence to use a consumable item no matter how cheap it is in the shop. Maybe the rest of this game is a fucking cakewalk, and I go, did no one notice?
Don't worry. It's usually the last 25% of the game's like, all right, every boss has an almighty attack.
I knew I was going to get there eventually. I'm like, wait a minute, if I have an almighty attack.
Yeah, that's when you know everything's like, all bets are off. It's going to do that or hit you with something that applies 3 status effects on the entire party at once.
God.
Or it does the turn where it's like, yeah, I do fire and then ice.
Like, I'm playing 4A, and one of the main bad guys plays a flute. Everyone's defense goes down 2 stages, and they're hit with charm, sleep, and stun. And I'm like, thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
It was really easy to get you to finally figure out how the compendium stuff worked when I finally went, oh yeah, you can't have doubles. As soon as that went, I'm like, I see the problem here. He's leading himself to getting 2 of these angels.
I mean, it would have been really cool if I could get 2 of those angels. That would have been great. Because, man, fuck that guy for making me see the game over screen.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to have a party of 4 Mothman.
Oh, yeah, that would be so good. Your demons are Mothman. You are Mothman. It's just not how it fused into a Mothman.
Yeah,
Just imagine he's got the antennas and that's it.
Still got the long hair, though. But yeah, no. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is really good. It does kind of chug on the Switch. It's like 25 frames per second is basically its goal. God. It's fine, though. I haven't, it doesn't feel as terrible as it could running at that frame rate. There's no platforming in the overworld that I've been like, I fucked this up because of the frame rate. I do kind of dislike that the sticks don't have a dead zone large enough. So when you use them on a menu and you push down on the analog stick and you let go, it goes up slightly because of how physics work, and then the cursor goes back up. So they need a larger dead zone for that. I'm going to keep using the D-pad until maybe they fix that. Aside from that, I don't have a whole lot to say. Bob, you said it on that video. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Not really. You nailed everything. The new Demon Fusion animation's great. It's amazing.
God, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, that dumb piano organ shit.
Yeah, the fucking
Probably the most involved your main character's ever been in a Demon Fusion.
Oh yeah, usually it's the old guy that became an NFT in SMT4. Usually he just does everything.
I still like the Devil Summoner one where it's just like, yeah, I'm basically Dr. Frankenstein. Okay.
yeah, it's really good. We ended that video with that Demon Fusion.
Oh yeah.
Which is good because the first time we recorded that video, we did not end that video with the Demon Fusion.
Oh, no. Man, the director's cut's so good.
Yeah.
God, an hour-long video recorded twice. That was a nightmare.
Yeah, no, that was the worst it's been since early GigaBoots because it was also weirdly hot in the house.
Yeah,
even though it's been cold all week. It was like the curse of old GigaBoots coming back to haunt us.
I walked in the door. Dan mentioned their attack problems, and also it's hot in the house. I'm like, did I step back 10 years?
By the way, you're playing Trine.
There we go. Try 2 from the top.
Trying to for the time. That was so sad. I was going to bed right when you were about to start recording it, so I was like, I can't wait to see what adventures they have in a couple of days.
Yeah, it took until 4:30 a.m. to record the video twice, save the video twice, and then everything was finally able to be rendered.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks again to Atlas for providing that game code. As I said, they did that. I feel like that was pretty covered in my earlier statement, but I always like to be clear on this. Just in case someone's like, I didn't say that they got it for free. I'm like, how would I get it early if I did it. But yeah, no, that game's great. I'm looking forward to spending more time with that. You know what else I played for 10 minutes?
Oh, is that?
Forza Horizon 5.
Ooh, cool.
Real quick, before we start the rest of this conversation, what nickname did you go with, Bob?
I went with Bob, and I regretted it.
I didn't know that was a nickname. That's fucking hilarious.
Because you can tab over, and that's just names.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, I considered having them call me Champ, because that's the funniest one on that list.
I went with Chief, because I thought that too was hilarious.
There's also Big Boss.
God, that's like when Fallout 4 came out and they're like, your robot can call you fuckface if you name yourself that. It's a fuckface.
That's pretty good. KZ, what nickname did you go with?
I just picked my name, so I just went Luis.
Damn it. I wish I had seen that tab, but I don't know. Going with Chief's pretty good. Because, they're like, here he is, Chief. And I'm like, there's enough of a pause where it doesn't feel like it's my name. It feels like this guy forgot my name. But yeah, Forza Horizon 5. KZ, you're playing it on Series X?
Yes.
Bob, you're playing it on One X?
Yes.
I played it for all of 10 minutes while trying to test capture solutions that are stable
Oh, cool.
on my Series X.
Phil, did you play it?
No,
Okay.
I don't have a Microsoft console. Maybe someday.
I was like, you might have paid $1 to play it on Game Pass on PC.
Ew.
I'm gonna do that.
No, like if I'm gonna play that, it's gonna be like I want it to be at the highest. Like this is a visual fidelity porn game.
Yeah.
Why would I try to play it on my PC?
Well, if you had a Chad PC,
Yeah, if I spent $1,800 on a video
If
card
you-
like a dipshit.
if you rolled up like Alex Battaglia with a cigar in your mouth and just said, "Why compromise? Get a PC," which was the funniest fucking tweet of the week, honestly.
And I'll be like, I have a guillotine.
Yeah, that game looks really damn good. Bob, would you say
looks
that?
pretty good.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
It makes, because you know that intro where you switch cars like 3 times?
Yeah, let me explain this intro real quick.
Go for it.
I will explain how it worked for me, and then me and Casey will ask you how it went for you, because I feel like it's real different. So the game opens up, you're in a hangar, and it's like, are you ready to drop? And you see a little bit of light. And as you push the A button, the back of this hangar on this fucking aircraft opens up. It's a car. You're going to drop the car in. The car parachutes down, lands on the ground, and you're seamlessly in the action. And then it's like, hey, there's going to be a little bit of traffic up ahead, says the guy on the radio, as you do a leap off of a cliff and you land in a racetrack. Hard cuts to pre-rendered, cool-looking CGI 30 frames per second race of you and all the other cars, and then seamlessly cuts to another plane and is just like, okay, here we go. And this one automatically dumps out, and when it hits the ground, you start driving in that one, and it's like, wow, this is so seamless, and I couldn't play this without going, how the fuck does this work on last gen? So, Bob, what does it do?
Every time you're like, wow, this is so seamless. Imagine it was the most seam heavy thing you've ever seen in your life.
So it's like a Telltale game trying to account for your 4 choices.
Yeah, so it cuts to black for like, what? 20 seconds each time or something. I'm like, okay.
That kind of kills the vibe completely.
Yeah, it completely killed it. It was like, man, this is bad.
This is like a breathtaking moment of seamlessly going between every biome in the game and
Yes.
like every so many different car types.
Yeah, by the end of it, I was just exhausted from how many times it loaded. And I was like,
By the way, audience, for reference, this sequence is maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, the sequence is
for
supposed
you guys.
The sequence ideally takes at most 6, maybe 7 minutes.
And Bob's like, I've been here for 25.
Yeah, I feel like it was at least 15. It was really bad.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't play that without instantly being like, I can't wait till Bob tells us how his version
They're like, the loading has been significantly improved. It's only about 16 or 17 seconds to get into the open world on Series X.
So you do that, then you're the new sheriff in Mexico.
Yeah. Okay. During that intro where they're doing like the authentic speaking about Mexico and how it's about family and all this,
Undulating.
were you really surprised when he doesn't say Mexico, he says Mexico?
I wasn't that surprised.
It just like hit me like a truck. I was
because
like, what?
I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, a lot of the people involved in this game, voice cast wise, are British.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Yeah, I don't hear. See, I'm glad they didn't do that because then it would give me real Peggy Hill vibes of like, you shouldn't be saying that. You're going to speak Spanish wrong and kidnap a small Mexican child.
Well, the intro is like voiced over by a guy who's doing a Mexican accent for the rest of it.
yeah.
So when he gets to Mexico and says it like that, I was like, what?
White people won't know what that means.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
don't
what
want to confuse them. I don't.
Yeah, that's what the only thing I took away from that. I was like, are you really that afraid?
So at the end of this intro thing, you know, you do the thing, you customize your character real quick, and the moment you finish that, you stand on stage, and then they say, Chief. And on the side of the stage are these giant like banners to let you know how cool this event is. You know, Horizon finally came to Mexico, and it says on the banners on the side, Mexico. And all I could think of, as someone who lives in Florida and constantly deals with tourists, all I could think of is the local Mexicans being like, they put the name of the country there in case the white people forgot. This game's real neat. It's funny because you look at the gameplay of Horizon and I expect it to control like Burnout.
Yeah.
But it's not like Burnout. It's a lot more closer to a simulator. There's a lot more counter steering during a drift.
Yes.
Which it's funny. It's been a while since a game really, really made me counter steer during a drift to really nail things. Running at 60 frames per second really helps with the game feel here. I'm sorry, Bob.
Yeah, it's a little rough over on 1X.
Yeah, no, the CPUs being really bad in last gen is a real fucking problem.
Yeah, this really did feel like the half step between simulation and arcade style, where you're doing cool jumps, you're making some nice turns, you're bumping people off a little bit. But sometimes if you're in a fast car and you at any point hit random terrain, you cannot accelerate and turn at the same time. You will spin in a circle over and over again.
Yes. Okay, once you selected your character and made all of it in that, was I the only one who was super surprised when my guy was extremely British?
I was so mad. I'm like, how dare you? My name's Louise, and I'm like, tip, tip, top, top.
They assigned you British.
I know.
There were two voice options, like just male and female. I'm like, wait.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was gonna say. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I was like,
only two voice options.
Because you don't say that much.
Yeah.
I feel like it would not have been too hard to have a few more voice actors to make it feel less like, wait, I'm British? I'm self-attacked by that?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I played this one to get away from the British. But then they're like, here's the radio DJ that's just all British.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah.
It feels exceptional that it's just like, that's right, Horizon is invading. That's the British person's on
the
DJ.
redcoats are coming.
It's a lot. I really wish we did get more voice choices, though. I too was thrown off because, I kind of went for a tan dude with like, I don't even know what you'd call a haircut, but let's just say Ninja Core haircut painted purple.
I didn't do much customizing, so I just had this weird, like, fluttery, like, white guy hair where I'm like, I just became a Twitter soft boy with this, with two prosthetic arms.
Oh, cool. You went to two prosthetic arms. I did the right leg prosthetic. So that way I could build a backstory in my head of a crazy car wreck,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, my dude's a badass. And then he sounded British.
I was really surprised that there's a huge setup for prosthetics, like every single limb, and you get different like color schemes for each one. That's surprising.
It is surprising, but that was also like they had so many customization options there. They did for the name too. And then the character and the haircut kind of did too. And then you get to voice lines, and there's only two voice lines. And I even got to choose my pronouns. Like you could do he, she, or they. And I was like, that's really cool. And then I click through, and there are only two voice lines. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's the most noticeable, like, customization option, even from accessibility to that, because they have a massive accessibility options and difficulty stuff where it's like, you can slow down the game's natural speed. So you're still going 120 miles an hour, but the game's running in a much slower motion, so you can actually make turns easier.
Okay, that's cool.
Like, the game will allow you, if you're terrible at any type of racing game, you can adjust for it.
Wow.
But also, I was winning races, I was on, like, standard difficulty. And it's funny, because I'm still using that rewind thing they give you occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just ate shit. Let's just go ahead and roll that back. I get a new race and they're like, you're winning too much. You'll get more experience if you up the difficulty. You want to do that?
Oh, that's funny.
Which usually I don't get the opposite version of easy mode is now selectable.
Right.
Where they're like, hey, you're winning a bunch. If you want a challenge, you can like pump this up more.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really thought that was neat.
Yeah, no, this game seems really neat. There's an energy to it, though, between the music choice and everyone's chatter, where I'm like, this is Burning Man in cars.
Yeah, that was my immediate vibe was just a car Burning Man, where I'm like, I never want to meet any person here at all, and they're like, hey, meet the mysterious El Jefe, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, every single line of dialogue is the most cringe thing imaginable.
Yeah, like you were talking about that, and I'm like, I am watching a YouTube video the entire time I'm playing this video game, so I'm not listening to this stuff at all.
Burning Man is already pretty cringe.
Yes.
Burning Man with cars is like a million times worse.
Actually, I'm going to make the counter argument. I'm curious where other people land on this. I'm going to say Burning Man, where you take out the Silicon Valley and philosophy and just replace it with car bullshit, kind of more wholesome.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
No.
I'm still terrified to leave my vehicle because they might eat my face because they're fucked up on bath salts or something. Bob, what do you think? Which one of these two do you want?
I don't know. They're both so evil.
Yeah, they're both evil, but I feel like I can take out a Silicon Valley guy.
Meanwhile, these car people are badasses.
Yeah.
I raced an air carrier.
They're like an additional 100 pounds per mass.
Yeah, my dude looks pretty badass. I wish I could buff him up even more. I might end up at the Giga Chad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that more. It's just a shame I didn't get to play it more for this week because of Megaten. Right. So I made my choice. Had to go with Megaten, which I'm really enjoying. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with Horizon 5. I'm very curious.
Did anyone else check out the radio stations? Because there's 3 different ones that are the main ones.
I didn't know there were radio stations until I rebooted the game and it said, here's your favorite. And I went, what?
Yeah, I had to look it up because how do I skip songs? Because please stop.
I wasn't focusing on radio or anything at all. I'm like, I can listen to my own stuff while engaging with this driving.
Yeah, I was trying to just absorb the game as it was.
Yeah.
Every those 3 stations. There's 4 stations technically, but 3 that are just almost the same station. They all have the same sort of horribly obnoxious announcer. And they don't play the same genre of music, but you could totally see all the songs playing on the same station.
Yes.
Like they don't define themselves as much as you get in like a GTA or anything else where you would be like, okay, here's your hip hop station, here's your rock station. No, it all just feels like party music.
Yeah, it's like feigned diversity.
Yeah.
It's just all the same sort of tone.
Yeah, and then the 4th station is just classical music. And I'm like,
okay, well, at least that's a different tone.
Yeah, at least that's different.
At least there's that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, that's something. I think I'll probably end up turning off the radio if I continue playing this game.
This is interesting coming from a Gran Turismo perspective because, of course, Burnout's been dead for a very, very long time.
Yes.
Where those soundtracks are huge and very diverse.
Yeah.
Like, they have a huge swath of music and you can customize the playlist. This... it all seemed kind of samey.
Yeah, I tweeted it when I played this of like, man, I'm really glad Gran Turismo is finally coming back because I cannot deal with this just tone this game holds.
Because here's
Gran Turismo like holds everything on a pedestal and feels pristine.
Yes.
This is like just awful.
Here's the thing.
You're the sheriff in town, but with cars.
Yes.
If the music was in a vacuum, I'd be okay with it. Mm-hmm. But it's when the music is going and all these people are screaming how cool I am nonstop.
And going tip, tip, top, top,
and
Mexico.
And they're fucked up on Adderall. Yeah, that's the part where I'm just like, this is a lot. This is a lot.
I wrote down, you're the new superstar in town because they keep calling you superstar.
Yep.
Well, I use chief, so they call me chief.
What? So they have a special term that they've assigned me because I chose a name.
I assume if you choose a name, they probably just have the backup of superstar. But maybe I haven't played enough to realize that they're saying superstar all the time and I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, they've called me superstar regularly in between just saying my actual name.
Okay. Maybe they will never deviate from me. Maybe I'm nothing but chief.
I need to see.
I need to know.
Because I'd much rather be like, you could just call me Big Boss every time.
Da, da, da. Yeah, that's cool. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's a real bummer playing on Xbox where the share features just are nowhere near as good as they are on PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm mashing that button constantly to try and get stuff, and it's very hard.
Yeah, for people who don't know, there are strict recording time limits. There are various things about it that's just not as good, which is nuts because the PS4 came out 8 years ago.
Yeah, I try to take multiple pictures to post them on Twitter, and it's like, you can only post one of these at once. So I have to just upload them individually, download them on my PC, and then delete those posts.
People are seeing phantom tweets.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah, it's like, for example, if you're doing this on PlayStation, you just press the share button or the create button, and then a little UI will appear. That Xbox doesn't do that.
Oh, yeah, and even on the Switch, you can upload multiple screenshots at once.
Yeah, I feel like I have to mash it to get like those menus to pop up to then go screenshot this, record what just happened, the 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds. It's a bummer. They really need to fix that.
Yeah, I've been really, really enjoying it. I put maybe 15 or 16 hours into it.
Wow.
Cool.
Going across the map. As you go through, you get like, I think it's accolades or something.
Yes.
Where it's like your rep in the game as you do a bunch of various things, and then that is what lets you unlock a thing where you can do an event in the different types of things they have in the game, like the different brands, I guess. Where one of them is specifically like street racing, one of them's off-road. And once you unlock it for the first time, a bunch of events will pop up and populate on the map, and they're color-coded based on that type. I did a lot of the Apex one, which seemed to have a lot of normal races. And then I hit one called The Colossus, where it's half of the open world is one race. It's not even a lap. And I finished it, and I'm like, this was 17 minutes. Where they're like, just go across this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, so I wasn't going to bring it up a big thing, but that just reminded me. They put up a trailer today for the next Gran Turismo 7.
I knew it'd be this.
Have you seen this thing? It's very funny. They keep putting up these minute-long things.
Yes, I saw that some leaked and then they properly put them out shortly after.
So the one that came out today, he talks about how they do the photogrammetry for the courses for just a second. And then they go, Kazano Yamachi, what is your favorite course? And he goes, my favorite course, fantasy or real, is Nürburgring.
Oh, that's the one, isn't it?
That's the gigantic fucking do 30 laps, eat all these eggs fucking course,
Yeah.
or 80 laps or something. And then he goes, when I race on that course, it feels like I've entered a fantasy world. And I'm like, this dude is literally racing on Nürburgring and entering a fugue state. He's just zoning out, distant, like his soul is leaving his body as he enters the Nürburgring. And that's just really
I am
funny.
so excited for this game.
So the Colossus being a 17-minute long race just made me go, oh no.
Yeah, because you can like look at the map, because some race types are that they just abandon laps and say, this is your percentage progress through the race.
Yes.
And this one was on the complete eastern edge. I'm pretty sure the open world map doesn't like open up any more than I'm at this point, but it's the complete eastern part to the complete western part, like halfway up. And you're going all the way across that. I'm like, we're 10 minutes in, we're like a little over half. And I'm like, this is scary. I was like, I'm not going to lose this. We're going to rewind this as much as possible. You are not going to ruin me 15 minutes into this race. But yeah, the game is absolutely gorgeous. Runs fantastically. I've really thoroughly been enjoying it. I do like hitting different race events where they're like, okay, do off-road. Here are like the recommended cars that you could pick. So you have to switch things up. Whenever you buy a car, they're like, here are the custom create a car like outside shell, where it's like, this person made it look like the Ava Unit 1. This person just likes the Joker.
You know, that menu is really weird to me because I couldn't figure out how to make my car not one of those. So I was like, well, I guess all I can do is choose this anime girl. Like I have no
I
idea
guess
what
I'll
this.
settle.
I have no idea where she's even from, but you have not let me choose blue.
I like how I saw one called Anime, and I'm like, oh my god, it's just High School DxD. This is rough. I don't need this at all. But I did enjoy that. It added another fun layer to getting the cars, and of course you're leveling up the cars by usually just spinning around in a ditch to get multipliers because you ran into 15 twigs and you drifted and did a slight bunny hop, so you got like 18,000 experience, so you can like level them up and get what I feel like is the best level up thing in the whole thing, where it lets you spin the level up slot machine 3 times. God. And then my brain gets excited.
That slot machine makes me upset.
That one, it makes me happy because I'm like, yeah, I get to spin. And then, though the amount of times it has gotten right next to $100,000 and it said, how about a hat? Or your honking sound is a fart, or whatever they give you. I'm like, come on, man. I'm just trying to buy cars. I like that Hot Wheels is a brand in this game.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're still keeping that energy a little bit. I'm curious what the DLC for Horizon 5 is going to look like.
Yeah, definitely. But this game is pretty fantastic. The dialogue's not great, but I wasn't expecting dialogue, so I was also shocked that it had dialogue.
See,
sometimes they shouldn't. They should just not.
Yeah.
Maybe you should just not.
Maybe.
Just play some organ music. Let me go and do a fugue state while the world crap passes me by.
I just want to race around this loop while Dancing Matt is playing.
Yeah, we need to give that Need for Speed a chance. The one with the live action.
Oh
cutscene.
yeah, you do.
Sometime
It needs to show up.
You need to get a plat.
A plat. Fuck it. But yeah, I'm excited to check out more Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, I played like 3 or so hours of it. I unlocked the first one of those things KZ was talking about. I was like, oh, this type of race, like I did it for street races. I don't know. This game really, it's just not hitting for me in a lot of ways. It could be part of, like, I'm playing on the One X. I'm not getting as smooth or as pretty of experience.
Yeah.
I feel like doing that would definitely impede enjoyment.
A weaker performance and a tone you don't like. It feels like you're playing a worse version of a game that you wouldn't entirely be drawn to.
And the thing that I didn't expect, like, or other things just putting me off completely, like, it gave me cars that seem better than anything I can buy. Like, I don't feel like I have proper goals. Because I'm like, well, I bought this car, but this car is like 600 or like 100 points worse than the car that I just have. And it was the best car of that model I could find. And it's like, then why?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to have, like, start me with some trash. Let me build up.
And they start you with supercars.
It start me with supercars. Like, I have the Toyota Supra. I'm like, that's an amazing car.
Yeah, I think everyone has the Toyota Supra because I also have it.
Yeah, they literally give you that as like some Ferrari or something. No, it's a Chevy that's insanely good.
Yeah.
And they just thought these things with really high points, and it's like, it's hard to even find in the shop something that's better than this. What?
Yeah, because for reference, the cars are like everything in every modern video game now, which is common, rare, epic, and legendary with the exact same color coding.
Yeah, it really hurts.
So when you're spinning
the amount of damage Blizzard did to video games is just, you can't even describe it.
Yes. The fact that everyone uses the exact same uniform color for rarity across like every video game also kind of shocks me. But yeah, like whenever you level up your character, you get a spin of the wheel, and then there are some cars there's some money there, but the cars are like color coded and whatnot. But I've gone into the shop and there are some cars I want. Some of them are like $3.5 million. But I did finally get one that was like $350K. That was like some really nice convertible looking car that had like a really good top speed, and now I'm just kind of focusing on like chipping away at its skill point rewards, because eventually you'll get stuff like your chains on doing skill combos, which is just like driving in oncoming traffic and speeding really well. Like you get bonuses and stuff, so I've been working on that.
It's always funny when you level up when it's like, no, I totally just bombed. What are you talking about? It's like, no, that was a cool drift, actually. He's like, no, I drifted off-road into 3 walls.
And the worst thing is that it's so hard to like get the cash out skill stuff during a race because it's like, I bumped the wall or I bumped someone who's like right in front of me. So they're like, you lost it. That counts as a bail. And I'm like, damn it. Because in the races, they're like, cool racing, and the multiplier's shooting up real fast. And then they're like, no, you took a bad hit. I'm like, what? Why is every object in this game made of like goo except for those cars? Like, I'll run into a guard railing and it just pops off like Legos.
Yeah. I'm surprised when the like brick walls just shatter.
Yes, you'll hit a palm tree and it'll shatter, but that one tree with 3 twigs in it, no, that's the powerful Mexico tree. You stand no chance.
There's also, I don't have Xbox Live Gold.
Oh god, I forgot about this.
So this was insane. As soon as it unlocked the mission where I would start playing with other people online, it just kept having an error message. Was the countdown? It was like, I can't connect. I'm gonna count down and try again. And it kept screaming at me. I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, I was also getting that. I just assumed it was a modern video game with shitty servers.
Oh, this didn't happen to me once. Jesus Christ. I thought it was because Bob didn't have Xbox Live Gold.
Oh, man, maybe it is just bad servers then.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Do I get live through Game Pass Ultimate?
Yeah, because Live Ultimate includes it.
That includes it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just their shitty servers. Don't worry about it.
so I do that, and I turn it off. And then I like open up my map later and see a button I want to hit. And that button, I guess, brings me to a page to text online to see if I can buy something. And I'm like, oh, I guess this just doesn't exist. Okay.
No, sorry.
But it can't do that in a normal way. It has to basically crash. And then you're like, when you pause and when you go to the shop will put in cars you pay real money for just alongside regular cars without any indication otherwise. It's like, hey, this one's 40,000 credits. I click it. It's like, give me $5. And I'm like, no, what? So yeah, it still has some of that Microsoft monetization stank that is like haunted the series since the Xbox One. It's real sad. I don't know. This is probably not for me, but I'd like to try it at 60 frames per second sometime, see how nice it can look.
Yeah, it looks nice. I feel like the racing in this isn't as exciting as many other racers I've played. But it's still enjoyable, right? Like this is my mind space coming into this. Okay.
Yeah.
They pop up. Here's the control scheme, and I go, "Where's boost?"
I was also in that same spot, and I hit the button that I would assume is boost, and that's like, that's emergency brake.
Yeah, exactly. That was
I'm like,
the
it's
thing.
gotta be A.
The fucking control screen just says A, emergency brake, and I'm like, then where did you idiots stick boost? And then I look around, and I'm like, oh.
Right. It's still technically a driving simulator, allegedly.
Yes, it's got its roots in that driving simulator.
It does feel it as someone who enjoys many an arcade racer and has played basically no simulators. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? This probably makes sense in reality, but please let me use my sports car in the dirt. And it's like, God damn it. I also wasn't getting into the racing aspect as much at first, especially in that first zone, because there's so many non-racing modes in that.
It's kind of funny. I mean, here's like right off the bat.
Okay.
They're like, hey, you can go do this race. And I'm like, okay, what's this other race? And these are the only 2 options. Okay, so this one's race. The other one is, hey, there's a car up in the hills. Go find it. And I'm like, what? That's not.
Yeah, I was really disappointed when I chose that one and they didn't immediately unlock that car, because you go find a retro Beetle. I was like, I want that.
Oh, and then you don't get to.
She's like, I'm gonna go work on it. It's like, how long do I have to wait?
You're like, no.
I was seeing people say there's like barns in this game where if you find a car in them, you just get it.
Oh, that's cool.
They just hide cars in the open world. If you find them, you can get them.
Something else that just doesn't activate anything in my brain for me is missions where it's like, okay, you're driving this car that we just invented for this mission. It's like, but I decked out my car. I like my car.
I have a Lancer 8, and the Lancer 8 is the coolest vehicle ever made.
You're right. And they're like, no, you don't want to use that. You have to use this. I'm like,
oh.
Okay, I guess I'll do your. It's basically feels like a set piece segment from a 7th gen
Are
game.
you telling me this racing game has pushed a button in your brain that went vehicle segment? Yeah.
Oh God!
Just wait until the part where they put a turret on your car.
You got to defend us from what? I'm not going to say because then it'll sound racial.
No, don't worry. They're the Magini.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There's so many modes in that early game where it's like, okay, there's a part on the map here where when you pass this line, you have to be going 200 miles an hour to get a 3-star. So you gotta like figure out how you come in from real far away. And you're like, how can I get the best straight shot?
And Casey's just like, that's impossible. I can't go that fast on dirt.
No, it's okay. Thankfully, they put that on a road. But then they have other ones where it's like, you're going down this long, winding like bend with a lot of turns. And throughout this strip, the game is like timing you. And if you go off the road at any point, they're like, you failed, do it again. Where they're like, you need to stay on target. There's ones for like big jumps. And then they have like straight up drag races where it's like, do you have a good top speed? Can you not accidentally crash in this 15-second long race? And I'm like, I can try.
I think something else that's really, really funny.
Huh.
Apparently, the dress code for Horizon, the event, is jorts.
Yeah, it is.
So the first
Finally!
Yes, you win.
the first thing that I lose, the first race I lose, because I chose a car that wasn't optimal because I wanted to use my car, not the car they made me drive. Was I had to watch a man do the Macarena in jorts, and I was like, I should just turn the game off.
That's a game over screen if I've ever fucking heard of one. Jesus Christ.
That's what SMT6 will have when you game over.
Lucifer booty shaking in his fucking jorts.
Or it'll just be a guy who has that head, that yellow head,
You mean
just attached
God?
to his neck. Yeah, I mean God. I mean Yahweh.
Yes. Don't make me think of it. I still can't handle SMT's creator god is just a golden head that's mad.
It's pretty great.
Oh, that's unfortunate, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to you.
At least I didn't have to watch Macarena in 60 frames per second.
Well, if you want, I can boot it up after we record this podcast, and then you can.
Yeah, you should at least boot it up so you can maybe do a race or two at 60. At least get one hit. But yeah, I got nothing else on it. I was having a delightful time with it. I wanted to get as much in as I could before SMT5 came out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's the reason I like sat down, finished Tales of Arise. So I was like, I can't have this sitting over my head while Shin Megami's coming out.
Yeah, and I've been putting off playing Final Fantasy V forever, and it's now out. It is now out on PC, so I'm putting it after SMT5.
So, Bob,
Yeah.
you got any other games you played this week?
Well, I finished Tales. That's the only other thing.
Did you get to the part where it's just like, we're out of time, here's a bunch of story?
Yes.
I was wondering about that. We were talking about it in the car on like Tuesday.
Yeah, where they sit you down like, I'm going to just talk for 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, that was it then.
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
really
man,
how it goes.
it doesn't feel good. I still feel like this feels like a really complete Tales game. Like you didn't necessarily
It's not a
need-
Xenogears situation.
Yeah, it doesn't feel Xenogears. It just feels like
it definitely feels like there was supposed to be a chunk of game where they didn't just dump all that on you at once.
yeah, they could have one more dungeon, but I don't have that feeling. Like I've had the feeling in various JRPGs, like wait, so it's over? Like this didn't feel like that. Because it still took me like 40, 50 hours or something.
You know, the weirdest JRPG I had that feeling in?
What was that?
Trials of Mana, because I chose the wrong team to get a cogent narrative.
You know the feeling I had for that? Star Ocean 5, the entire game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I booted that up and knew
Yeah,
immediately.
That doesn't, not a shock.
It's like that game's a nightmare, and that mage girl's outfit is the dumbest it's ever been.
That's great.
I showed it to Dan. He didn't really know how to react.
Fucking Trials of Mana, I'm playing it. Some guy I've barely seen before comes up, delivers an epic speech, dies. We did not kill him. And then it's just like, wait, is he related to... And then none of the characters on screen have this epiphany. And I'm like, what? There's so many layers going on right now.
That's really, really bad.
So tell me more about this game. This game you played.
So after finishing it, it feels like I have a feeling like I did when I beat Tales of oh my god, Abyss was the PS3 one. Yeah, Abyss and Graces. It feels like a full game like those did, but with real environments.
Yeah.
They're still kind of hallway. I'd like them to shy away from everything being a hallway going forward.
It didn't, because there are places where it opens up where it never did that in the.
There are, but like I think what really gets me is that you're ultimately going in one direction the whole game.
Yes. Yeah, you are.
That part throws me off a little bit. I'd like it to be like, okay, now you go back to this area and go the other direction. We didn't just make we didn't just make a line.
It's okay. The line loops back in eventually.
That's also my problem with Final Fantasy X, if we're being honest. It's where it's just a line.
Yeah.
It's like, please.
It's okay. One time there's one map with a circle.
It was something was 10 made it just didn't hit even as well as this for me. Like there was something in that just made me feel like it was even more.
It's still a line, but that was like pre-rendered background sometimes too.
Yeah, I like that you can just quick travel the entire game. Just jump anywhere at any time.
I barely played it, and I still had an immediate appreciation as someone who just plays all of these.
Because
they've done that for a while, but they would like gate it at times, which they do here too.
Right.
For a while.
They do gate it a few times, but most of the game is just like, just teleport. It's fine.
This one felt slightly more convenient with it, even in the limited amount that I play, where I'm like, it feels like sometimes they made you wait a bit before they fleshed it out.
Yeah, because they have lots of fishing spots and stuff there. I was like, I want to be able to get back here easily. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that one of the side quests takes so unbelievably long to finish, and it's the goofiest thing in the world. I don't know if you guys did this specific side quest.
I haven't been able to finish. I assume you're talking about the fishing one.
No, it is not the fishing one. In the very first area, the very first town you get to. A guy's like, I want to be stylish, and I checked back with him like 15 times. I'm like, when are you gonna get new clothes?
Okay.
And it turns out when the entire plot is resolved, basically.
I saw some shit. I could be paraphrasing it, but I've been recording my way through it. I hit that quest, and I'm like, man, I did 2 story points and nothing's happened. Let me just Google the quest name, and they're like, defeat all the lords. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, though you wait on that forever.
And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. You got to save up money to get good fashion sense, I guess.
But yeah, my main complaints are just they really make the enemies less spongy. Like near the end of the game, I got really bad, was I'm just hammering on regular enemies for way too long. And that really is the main one. And then that thing that Phil was talking about near the end, where it's like, we're gonna sit you down in cutscenes for like 2 to 3 hours.
Damn.
It does not feel great when they do it. And like,
you get to the archive room, and it's like, luckily we can Google every single thing in the plot in this room.
Don't say that, because other games this year have done that to me, and I don't need it.
Don't worry, it is not Scarlet Nexus tier.
Okay, because when you hit the archive room in there,
because most of the stuff is stuff you know already, most of the info in there, and they just kind of flesh out a little, like, these are the trimmings to it that like connect it. Whereas in Scarlet Nexus, that was the whole plot. Like the
Phil, I'm gonna need you to finish Scarlet Nexus in time for Game of the Year.
No.
Finish.
No. I barely started.
I know.
So
that's why I scoffed at that.
I know.
I'm like,
It's a big hit. It's got one of the most interesting stories of the entire year.
Also, I sold it already.
I assume.
good on you.
So I did run into that demon that is straight up the Dark Souls enemy. It was like,
it's so transparent. It's just like, you're just the asylum demon.
It's like, why is this here? You take so much damage. You don't even give me that much experience. I hate you.
I'm glad that you're able to immediately recognize
that's like, it's the last dungeon in the game, so what the fuck ever? Who cares? But it's just like, you didn't need to have every single door guarded by a mini boss.
Yeah, no, they really go hard on that. it really is upsetting where it's like the big enemies don't give you nearly as much experience as if you could just fight a group of small enemies, which is insane.
Yeah, just make them experience pinatas. I mean, at the end of the game, who cares?
Right. I still need to level up to beat some of these side quests because you made those act like are basically beat the game.
So, someday I want to go back and did you accidentally poke your head into that bonus dungeon because it unlocks before even the end of the game happens?
Yes, I did go there. I was like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, so did I. I kind of want to try because it's weird that it's just like the weird tech demo dungeon.
Yeah, it's very strange. I have no idea why it is like that.
I really do wonder if like this is what they originally wanted the game to be, and it's like we can't actually do that. That's really difficult.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, let's just make it this one area.
Yeah, I have to wonder if there were going to be more areas like this or something, because it feel like it'd be insane to do this for the whole game, especially because like you'd have to change the way traversal works in a lot of ways, and it would be less interesting in general if you did it.
Yeah, it could just be like an experiment they wanted to do for this bonus dungeon, but it's interesting, and I need to level up a bunch so I can even attempt it.
Yeah. But I like, having finished it, I want to go back and do those things. Like, I don't feel like it's one of those games where I want to not see it anymore because I beat it, which is always good. So whenever I get time, I will do some of those. I did as many side quests as I could before finishing the game. I was like, okay, I need to get this done because Shin Megami's coming out. But that's everything I played. Did you play anything else, Phil?
Yes. I'm still going through Final Fantasy 14. I'm not really going to talk about it because I haven't made a huge amount of progress. I may be halfway through Shadowbringers, the final expansion I have to get through before I'm ready for Endwalker. I've only just met the main antagonist, which like 6 people have told me is very feel core, so I'm scared.
Yep.
He follows you around.
Yes.
He's like, he's like, well, everybody else on my side who's tried to fight you has just died, so maybe we can work something out. So I'm just gonna follow you around and pop out of the shadows sometimes, and maybe sometimes say something racist, and then pop back into the shadows.
Organization 13 derogatory.
He's like the champion Pokemon.
Yes. God.
What?
But mostly I have been playing, well, and by mostly I mean like in my it's late at night and I need to mash a button game. I've been playing Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning, because that was a free PS Plus game.
I need to play that, but I haven't had a chance.
I highly recommend everybody, if nothing else, claim that game.
That game's legendary. State owns that, like Rhode Island. Or
yeah,
whatever.
the state. I think it's the state of New Hampshire. I think the state of New Hampshire owns Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning because they destroyed that company in court, and it's like you own all their assets now, including this game.
That's really funny.
That is such a legendary video game.
Wasn't it like a famous baseball player?
Yeah.
A baseball player, yes.
Yes.
But this might be the most 7th gen game ever made.
we say that pretty regularly, I feel.
We say that a lot. Like this is probably the most 7th gen RPG ever made. Let's limit it to that.
Yeah, I feel like we finally found a way to dig to the center of the earth.
And now, in as of last week, The Order 1886 is the most 7th gen, 8th gen game ever made.
You have the Mass Effect dialogue wheel in this.
Ooh.
For no reason. There's also a list. And you don't seem to have, there's no like morality system, so they just put it in because it was a thing in Mass Effect.
Oh my god.
Sometimes you want to hear funny sounds, like have some good dialogue.
Not only that, you have God of War kills.
Yeah, I remember that.
Why?
Which you get through the devil trigger.
What?
You have a devil trigger. I forget what it's fucking called. It's like, oh no, it's called Reckoning Mode. I forgot. It's called Reckoning Mode.
Re-reckoning mode?
No, it's just called Reckoning Mode. So in Reckoning Mode, you deal like triple damage and time is slowed down. So it's more like a DMC, the DMC devil trigger than a real devil trigger. But when you kill an enemy, the big God of War thing appears over them. And you can hit that button to do a really graphic canned animation where you mash a button and kill them and get a bunch of extra experience for it. And it's so funny to do that or the stealth kills, because the stealth kills are also very God of War core, or like you do like a sweep kick on someone from behind and then just stab them in the throat 47 times as your stealth kill.
I feel like Kingdom of Amalur should be the game they pretend is the video game of Mythic Quest.
Yes.
That's the exact
100% the Mythic Quest fictional video game should be Kingdoms of Amalur.
I mean, Amalur is so fucking pathetic and generic.
God.
For also, like, people said it copied World of Warcraft, and it does, to the extent that the second major area in the game, because there's 5, I think. There's 5 major areas in the game, and then there's 2 DLC areas. And you can tell the DLC areas easily when you get there because you start doing new animations for your God of War kills. It's like, oh, these new enemies have new special kills on them.
I'm surprised it had DLC before it died.
It had 1 DLC before it died, and then they made one for this re-release, I think.
Oh.
So I don't know which one is which. I need to look it up right now because the one I did, because I did one of them. I did the whole area. It's like that's kind of lame. I really hope that isn't like the new one. Let's see. Looks like that actually they only said they were going to do a new one and then didn't actually. Oh well. So the first area, the second area is exactly like the second area in World of Warcraft if you pick a human. It's the exact same. It's like a brown, like late fall farmland where bandits constantly try to kill you. So it is so fucking transparent. I had never gotten very far into Kingdoms of Amalur. I had tried twice before to beat it. But my completionist brain kicks in, and this game was made with the fucking corpse of an MMO.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would play 40 hours of it and get halfway through the second area out of 5 and just be like, okay, I give up. This won't be working out. So this time I got to that point because I did the exact same thing because I still have that brain disease. I'm like, you know what? I'm already so much more powerful than everything. Because if you pick crafting things in this game, you just become stronger than everything easily. So I'm just going to speed run the story, the main story.
Ooh.
And boy, am I glad I'm doing that because I got to do the first quote unquote dungeon of the game, which is a really hilarious hallway full of enemies. And then you see a cutscene where a character you don't give a shit about heroically sacrifices herself to achieve nothing.
Jesus.
And then you fight a boss, which is a big guy with 2 big arms. He slams at the platform you're on, and you have to hit his hands until he goes, and his head falls down onto the platform for you to beat up.
Yes.
I've never heard of this.
And then when his health gets low, you do a big hand animation where you pin both his hands to the ground with like spears and then stab him in his big eye.
Question, is there a moment in which a giant button appears in the air and spins?
Of course.
Yes!
It doesn't spin in this one. It's not even 3D. They just like put a JPEG of the X button over them.
Yes, it's pathetic too.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to judge this against my experience with Kingdom of Amalur.
Uh-huh.
When you entered that new area, the woodland one you talked about,
Yeah.
did it load into the ground?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
I've gotten minor graphical glitches.
What, Bob? What?
The further I've gone, but I can't tell if it's actually graphical glitches because I'm playing a mage because I played a warrior both previous times I played it because I'm like I have the big sword. I don't have to think. I just swing the big sword. I'm very strong.
Did it load the ground?
I'm playing a mage in this one, so I have an ability that's just a barrier that's always on.
Huh.
But they don't turn it off. They don't turn it off in dialogue, so everybody is just reflecting the slow pulsing blue light back at me.
Okay,
because
that's
everyone's
something
really
else.
shiny because everybody's really shiny because it's a 7th gen game.
I remember the dialogue just broke for me frequently when I tried to play it last time too. It's like I'd be able to select options and they just would say nothing back.
Yeah, I haven't had anything that bad yet. The game crashed on me once, but I think it might not have been able to handle my big tactic of using this move that's way up in the mage tree. You know in Dynasty Warriors where sometimes a character will have a really good combo, and this probably isn't into like the mainline Dynasty Warriors one. This is probably only in the fucking goofy spinoffs like Hyrule Warriors, where like the first hit vacuums everybody into a cluster.
That happens sometime in regular.
Well, you get one of those where like you vacuum them all to you and then do like a flamethrower jet and then summon an ice meteor to drop it on them. It is just a weed whacker for enemies. So I did that on like 8 guys and the game just couldn't handle it.
Magnificent.
I have to read verbatim this dialogue that I had to write down because it was so fucking generic and laughable.
No, is it the Joe Biden dialogue?
Yes, it is. So the plot of this game is you're dead at the start. You're just a fucking corpse. And you get revived by this fucking magic science thing. And because you're revived, you're outside the tapestry of destiny.
Ooh.
So you have no destiny, and you can change other people's destiny by interfering with it. Like, you have a mentor character who is doing a really bad prequel Obi-Wan impression. Like, imagine somebody who's pretty good at saying, hello there, and bad at everything else. And that's who they have to do this character.
No.
So you meet like an ogre when he's helping you go through a place, and he's like, I'm afraid I won't be able to go with you anymore, old friend, and runs off to fight him. But there's not like a cutscene of him dying. You just get to fight also, and you kill the ogre really easily. And he's like, what the fuck? I was supposed to die. Like, I can see destiny. I knew I was supposed to die. Do you know how many unpaid bar tabs I have? And he's like, I ran them all up because I thought I was going to die right here.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. It's like the one thing in the game that really got me. So you go to like the elves, or not the elves. They call themselves the Fae folk, but they look exactly like the fucking night elves from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So you go to like their main
All
city. You go to like their main city and talk to one of them. And here's an example of the dialogue. It's like, and this is, imagine I'm delivering this in a really bad Scottish accent. I'm not even going to attempt it.
Okay.
Like, I have seen men destined to be great. Greatness came easy to them. They did great things. They lived and they died. But you have no destiny. You do great things because you choose to be great. Is that not a greater form of greatness?
Yeah,
You don't have destiny. You don't only have Max.
Man, if you just done a Joe Biden voice for that, it would be exactly what you get off that.
Yeah.
Also, this game was composed by Grant Kirkhope, and boy, can you tell? Boy, can you tell?
Yeah!
It is Grant Kirkhope. It is Grant Kirkhope copying the fucking soundtrack of World of Warcraft.
Oh no.
Yeah!
God. Does he mix with a
and the
gum
fucked up-
commercial at least?
Bum, bum, bum.
I don't know. I don't have that power. I'm not Dan. So what I didn't know is that the backstory of Amalur, he did not actually work on this game, but the backstory of the world of Amalur was written by fucking R.A. Salvatore, who created Drizzt.
Yes. I'm staring at this credits of who made this game, and just the funniest thing about R.A. Salvatore is if you look at his Wikipedia page, for some reason
He's sitting in front of a Family Guy.
Yeah.
A Family Guy poster.
God.
and it's killing me because it's like known for the Demon War saga and the Legend of Drizzt. He created the popular character Drizzt in Vector Prime, the first novel in the Star Wars The New Jedi Order series. But his picture is him in front of the Family Guy logo at some con in 2006.
Oh, that's good.
Now, I need everybody to play this game because it's free. If you have a PlayStation Plus, it's free. And keep in mind, this scored really highly when it came out. This was like upper mid shelf in 7th gen. Just keep that in mind as you try this
I
game.
remember most games media talking about it. There's like a chunk of them that are like, this fucking rules.
Weird. 'Cause I remember
gave this a 9 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah, I remember this being a really mixed reception for actual customers. Like a lot of them brought it back almost immediately. Like, this sucks. This isn't what I thought it'd be.
It's Metacritic on every platform is above 80.
Wow.
That's insane. Yeah, the reception I heard from normal people is not thrilled.
I also started Lost Judgment. I could not have predicted how many children you beat up in this game.
Yeah, I didn't want to oversell it when I play through it, but yeah, you beat the hell out of some kids.
Finally.
I also
They're high schoolers
Yakuza
though, so it's fine, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Finally, a game for fucking feel.
At one point, they bring in like the rugby team who are all huge and jacked.
Yes, they do.
There's like 4 guys who are like 7 feet tall and huge.
I think that's the encounter where they're like, "This is fucked up. I have to jump out the window and skip to the other floor and then juke them."
Yeah, it's remember the start of the second episode of Phantom Blood when Dio and Jonathan are playing rugby?
Yes,
They look exactly like that.
they do. It's really fucked up. It feels like they ported them over from the Fists of the North Star game.
Wow.
I didn't expect this game to be so fucking goofy because Judgment is not this goofy. I guess the fact that Yakuza 7, which was the first game with like the new franchise overlord, because Nagoshi got kicked upstairs and then left to work for China. I didn't expect it to bleed through like this, where it's like, there's a whole side story where Tak, the main character, is like, I have to solve all the problems in the school. So I'm working for like the occult mystery club as their advisor so I don't get thrown out from stalking school grounds. This fucking club is making me help the dance club, so you have to do a rhythm game where this fucking 45-year-old man is popping and locking to show the dance club his kung fu move dance so they can win. He basically has to coach the people from Bring It On.
And it's like, I'm a 38-year-old man wearing the tightest jeans I can find.
I am really digging this direction the whole franchise is going, where it's all our protagonists are just the biggest dipshit boomers now. There's a guy in Judgment who like wears like an anonymous mask, and he comes back. He comes back in this. He has it fucking framed in his office.
Yeah, he gets his own like detective agency, and he framed that mask, and I went, dude, you weren't that cool.
He's
also the one who gives you the skateboard.
Yeah, where he accidentally gets 2 orders of the same skateboard, so he's like, here, you can use this for traversal.
Yeah, and the other like his co like business owner in his business, because it's in Yokohama where Yakuza 7 happens, was like the guy who got computer information for you in the first game. He was like living in a net cafe.
Yeah.
And the reason that he gives you the skateboard is because his partner, the hacker, is like, no reselling.
Oh yeah, he's totally against scalpers. It's really good.
So he's like, I really wanted this limited edition skateboard, so I ordered it from every site I could, and I got 2, but he won't let me resell it.
He's like, no, you won't be doing that. We will not support that here.
Also, Crispin Freeman is like your sidekick character. He's like the big boisterous Yakuza guy, and he's doing the exact same voice, but as Copeland from Days Gone, and it kills me every time he talks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad that I went through Judgment and then got through this, so I could kind of like start to shave it off a little bit, but it's still kind of hard because it really is. It really is just him doing that.
But it's great. I'm really happy to keep going through it. Sega, you need to, if you're gonna tell me these games are dubbed, actually fucking complete the dub of them, please. I'm sick of this shit.
What?
This is the 3rd one. Get over it.
Yeah, they're like konnichiwa or something whenever I go into a store. They're like Japanese words when I punch them.
Really bad. KZ, did you do the dance club side stories, or did you just
Yeah, I just
mainline?
I just mainlined the whole game. I was like, I don't.
So at the first dance meet, they do like a huddle. And the coach is like, and this is an English line, is like, okay, everybody give me a hip hop, let's go rabbits, because they're like the Seiryu rabbits or fucking whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so she says that in English, and then they say hip hop rabbits, but it's in Japanese.
God,
hip hop rabbits.
Yeah, it's that. So I'm like, just be like fucking Nippon Ichi Software of America or Spike Chunsoft or every other company where it's like, hey actor who's playing a main character, can you just voice like 750 tertiary characters?
Right.
This game has a complete dub. Nobody cares. Just do it.
It's funny because they had less of an excuse last time when it was like, it's still 6 months after. Now it's like, if this is the first time they didn't dub everything, I'd almost understand because it's like a worldwide launch this time. Like when they talked about how they didn't do lip flaps this time because they just did not have enough time. But I would really love for them to do that. The dub is really good though.
It is. Greg Chun is really good at playing dipshit detectives.
Yeah, he's really been like leveling up as like a voice actor I like quite a bit because through both Judgments, his performances are like really solid. And I also really did love how unhinged this game is compared to the other one because they could focus a little bit less on it being your personal like origin story instead of being a new case you have to solve. And by the end, I'm like, oh, this is the best. This is like this is my favorite of their style of game, especially because the combat's so much better in this than Judgment 1.
I need to play this game because if I don't, in my head, I'm just going to have him sitting there going, listen, Yagami, me and my father back in the days used to build bunkers.
No! See, it's not going to be that. He's going to be like, what's up, Talk? We got to find this cat. Or just him going to that school and it's like, Talk, this teacher, she looks like the teacher I had the hots for 20 years ago. This might be my chance.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad.
No!
Talk is like elbowing him repeatedly in the liver. Like, shut the fuck up. We're doing something here. Stop trying to get some.
Yeah, and it's like at one point in a cutscene later, it's like, yeah, I met with the teacher while you guys were out. He's like, come on, are you kidding? This was my shot. And I'm like, this is great.
Greg Chin is also a character in Yakuza 7 who's like a homeless man who's your healer, and he's doing a very different voice, but it's also very good.
Oh, that's good. I'm going to finally do 7 next year when they're probably closer to doing 8.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I wonder if there's going to be like a bigger jump between 7 and 8.
Yeah, I do wonder. But they make games fast over there with their they're very economical.
Yeah, they use the whole animal.
Yeah, but then you'll hit like some of the like the end game stuff, and I'm like, this game still looks like really good, and visually it's just visually it looks tight as hell, and some of the like set piece fights they do just look fuck. The animation
the
work and choreography is off the charts in all of these games, and there's some sequences here that just kick so much ass.
Yeah, the Yakuza games kind of beat the shit out of most games when it comes to like framing and like how a shot moves. Like the thing that always stands out to me is in Yakuza 0 when you go down into the sewer and the guy rides the motorcycle at you. Like that seems really well made.
Yeah, I think of stuff like you'll fight a boss. You'll get through one bar of the health, and then they're going to move on to the next phase, which means they get to show them fighting each other in a cutscene for a little bit, and maybe they'll do like a quick time event later in it. And the choreography is like John Wick level. Where I'm like, I'm just looking at candy on the screen the whole time. I'm like, how's this dude fighting with a chair like this so easily?
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's all I have to say about it. I'm going to try to get further in it, but in between shotgunning Final Fantasy 14. But that's all I played.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and I'm tapped.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
Good job.
Yeah, great job, everyone.
Okay.
We talked about video.
What are you doing next week?
I don't know. Same thing we do every week, KZ.
What?
Talk about the podlords.
Oh, shit!
Oh, fuck.
Podlords.
Oh, no, Phil fell down a well.
It's okay. He'll climb his way back up while you talk about the first few podlords.
I realized I needed to correct my posture in order to do the podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Live Action Muito Real, Red Blaze 27, Suzushiro, Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato mentally prepping for a Shining Pearl Nuzlocke.
Oh, yeah, because she said, if they put Sora in Smash tomorrow, I'll do a Nuzlocke. And then it happened.
Nightmare.
Brained.
To celebrate the release of SMT5, here is Gara Busey.
Come on.
You don't need to give the penis eyes.
we probably can't even put that in the video without getting in trouble.
I know. We should censor that. Watching Death Note again, Light makes some really great faces.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does. 101 Shades of Wonderful remastered. When news happens and ruins your paid time off, but you'll just skip work on the new day anyway.
There's the plan.
Yeah, that's a fucking plan.
Yeah, that's really good.
WTF Spider-Man. Hi, I'd like to order a McRib.
Oh, no! What is this from? Some bad CG cartoon?
Actually, this is an experiment in machine learning.
Oh, okay. Certainly something I wouldn't have to pay $60 to experience.
No, you don't have to, because we're GigaBoots. We play it, so you don't have to. Have a good weekend as you attack and dethrone God. I'm pretty sure they meant dethrone, but I don't want to decide for them.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I got dethorn it, okay?
You got to read as written.
DFW 3K. Muckbun. Shiny Mew finally has a job that pays more than $12 an hour. Let's go!
Congratulations.
Hell yeah.
Kristen. Tactical Tonberry plushie activate. I forgot to make one this week.
Fair.
Santi Kunai. Travis Touchdown versus new Raido Kuzunoha Switch Edition. You could be sad about Endwalker being delayed, or you can focus your energy into the glory of Zeon's revival. Zig Zeon!
They got cute anime girls.
Yo, what? Sign me up. Kyle Bjork. Zilter. Discord shut the fuck up challenge. This podlord can change this every week and it'll be a new name. I'm positive.
Yeah, just roll a company each time. You can just guess and somehow
it's
be
all
right.
it's always NFT.
Yeah, you'll always hit.
Always hit. There's
yeah.
always a new one lined up.
Yep.
Iron Aggro. Blig de Blue. Schlig des Boo. I'm out of decent Aqua Teen ideas, so podlords are forbidden. Monster Hunter. Ryzen and Raiden. I'm a shill. DDLC Plus. It's only $15. The new side content is very good and genuine. Please, it's not an ironic VN.
I don't believe you.
That's literally my take on it and why I haven't played it yet.
You know what? I believe them, but everyone who likes them that makes content around it makes it evil.
The need of dogs everywhere. Shit damn, boys. It really is another fucking day.
Yeah, that's really how it feels sometimes, isn't it?
That reminds me. Need to mail Garma to Abu Dhabi. Sharfie!
Blame it on the misfortune of your birth, John.
Twink's giving is canceled, but the button is inevitable.
We're almost there.
I ain't switching.
Yeah, you're the male cat.
Those who are purchasing Shin Megami Tensei 5 might I consider joining the law?
I swear to God, Phil, not only have you bought fucking Skyrim, if you go law, we're gonna have some issues.
I would never go law. What universe would I ever go for?
Yeah, I'd have to rename you in the server to Cuck Howard.
This podlord changed their image back to the really good face yelling. So I'm gonna have to go back to reading their podlord name as that. So here we go. Megatron's Dilf.
Oh, I was hoping it was this one.
BN12. You better watch out. See, because it's a Christmas Padoru, but it's also an Ampharos.
Oh.
This was a podlord image last week.
Oh.
This is what we call a throwback. You want to see that? Give us more views. Indigo Sykes. YouTube says we're taking away dislikes for YouTubers' mental health, and I'm like...
Yeah, the mental health of Blizzard employees. Blizzard executives.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, technically executives are employees, but that's not. We can tighten this down a lot.
Executives are not workers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, I can still see my dislikes and have an anxiety attack.
Yeah, it's fine. We got this covered still. Corporations, however, they get to pretend no one dislikes their video. Evil Lucario. Clutchin's future-proof Podlord name slot. It's cold out for this raccoon, so he's gonna wear his jammas.
Okay.
My grandmother once said, "Do not cope because Dan killed your bit for feel last week. Instead, post a picture of a wild rodent."
I understand this reference.
Lamu. Shinji16 celebrating his birthday by doing a charity stream on his Twitch Saturday, November 20th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there. This Podlord's too much. Didn't get an Elden Ring network test key, but I'm feeling fine.
Yo, that's me.
I know. I'm
3D
like,
glasses on it.
I can't believe they put Casey's image here.
Actually, no, it's all tears.
I didn't get one, but I just checked my email and I got into fucking Babylon's Fall.
Yeah, join me. Yeah.
Join me in the dumpster.
Join the cool kid club. Maria Kondenzovna Eve has been awake since last night, editing podcasts. Wow.
Ooh.
Mood. And Vervarm, thank you very much to our Podlords.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlords. Thank you, Podlords.
Thank you, Podlords. And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as early access to Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool, our 2 anime review podcasts, extended armchair dev and gamer premonitions when the format of those shows makes us leave ideas on the floor, and a Patreon exclusive show, 1 per month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we watch. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast. And if you don't have any money, you can help us out by telling your friends. And if you don't have any friends, make some. Socializing is easy if you're not scared. That's patreon.com/gbpodcast.
The easiest thing to do is just remember, fear is the mind killer.
Oh.
Yeah. Once you realize that, friends are easy, you know?
Okay.
They're more afraid of you than you are of them.
That is also a helpful tip. Let me just do something real quick. There we go. Okay, hear me out, KZ.
Okay.
I have a Podlord YouTube approved version. What do you think?
Hold on. Let me reopen this here. What could this be?
You can't make out shit on that.
You know what? That makes sense. If one, you're not allowed to use Gary Busey. That's Gary's job.
So there we go.
That could be anybody.
We're moving on to the news. I'll go ahead and go first. Mine transitions into Bob's. So, earlier in the week, Konami sort of warned everyone that Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 was going to be delisted digitally for a temporary amount of time because a license for some archival footage in the game expired. And then apparently later, people said, yeah, this never even actually happened. What?
Yeah, I went and checked before like we recorded to make sure that like you can buy this. You can still buy it on like Xbox.
Yeah, it was supposed to drop for like a few days ago, so it should have been dropped by now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they said it was just going to be down until they get the licenses re-upped and everything. So it looks like
so
that.
Maybe they
faster.
just got it back easier. Yeah, maybe they just. I assume they just got it back earlier. The fact they did it at all kind of makes me think they're going to put these on modern platforms again.
Yes.
Seeing them try that makes like, yeah, they care. They still care about upkeeping this in some way.
Yeah, that they were transparent about what's happening was really unexpected.
You honestly don't get that too often. Sometimes it's like it's already gone.
Especially
They
from
didn't say
Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't
That's
say
just bizarre. Yeah.
I feel like Activision barely said anything when they took down like Transformers Devastation.
Yeah,
Where
they
it's-
just tried to sneak out the back door.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was really sad because recently the composer went, the soundtrack for Transformers Devastation is going to pop up on Bandcamp. You can buy it digitally only. You can't buy the game.
Great. Moving on. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl announced it has a day one update that's 3 gigs.
Woo.
For a Switch game, that's huge.
That's the whole game.
people have been playing it early because it leaked, and it's been really funny just seeing them bump into things that aren't there. Things are in the code, but are completely inaccessible. This is why. So that cartridge long-term useless.
Yeah, this is like Nintendo. Are you aware that you're Nintendo?
No. Let me explain. This is one of those world-famous second-party games.
Yes.
Like, oh, right. The ones that are... This is Pokemon. Kids are going to get this and not know why their game is broken.
It's kind of hilarious. There's a ton of endgame stuff. There's a ton of features. This game, I don't want to spoil it too much because there's so little that's new. But they have that feature from Heart Gold, Soul Silver where you can listen to the original soundtrack. The person who would give you that wasn't even in the game before this patch. Yeah, so they just had these sound files hanging around, and people are like, "What is this?" Also, those recordings sound terrible. Hopefully, they fix them at some point. It sounds like someone who doesn't know how to record audio from a DS properly. Even
God, it's never getting fixed.
All the bass dropped out. The treble's too hot.
Yeah, this will never even get patched again. It's a second-party game.
Yeah,
I hope it gets patched again because the fact it needed this huge of a patch now on day one, like just ahead of it launching for real, is worrying.
These are like Japanese war mercenary devs, so we will never know.
Yeah.
But I would kill to know, like, when were you told you had to make this?
Yeah, because for people who don't keep up with this stuff and think we're just being inexplicably mean, which weirdly enough happens a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
This is Shadow Devs. For people who don't know, generally this is a lower tier of Japanese company who works on a game but never even gets credit because that's a popular thing in Japan. This is the same sort of tier as Minakuchi Engineering for the Mega Man X3, Mega Man 7 probably sort of games where it's made by them, but Capcom had oversight until Capcom took 7 back and said, "This is bad. We're fixing it in 3 months."
This company mostly did my understanding is asset work on console games, and then they made 1 or 2 throwaway mobile games.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, and that's the track record with a lot of these guys.
Yeah, the Near Replicant remaster was done by Toy Logic, and they were the exact same type of studio where it's they did assets on a bunch of AAA games in Japan, but nothing where their name would be involved that you would know who they are.
Yeah, and this is even amongst those groups of people. I feel like the people who are making this are an even lower tier of Shadow Dev, where the things they worked on weren't necessarily that AAA. But none of that's really the point.
They've also done a lot of non-game stuff, where they would make assets for a CG commercial or something.
Yes.
They worked on the Domino's app featuring Hatsune Miku.
For when they did the stuff for the Domino's app, did they zoom in on menu items and then do a super cut?
And then they just had the word cave on screen. Where do you want to pick up your pizza? Cave.
But yeah, you go to their website and look at their works page, and it's just wow, look at all this fucking shit I've never heard of.
Yeah, basically. The only other things of note that I'm going to talk about here with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is that the entire thing is made in Unity, apparently. And the hilarious thing is the only difference between the two different versions of the game is a thing in the header file. Allegedly, it's just this tiny flag that just goes, "Do this version of the game." And that's really, really funny.
Oh man, we accidentally flipped to Dialga mode.
It does make sense. It's really funny though. But yeah. So that remake.
That's kind of adorable when you think about it. It's a different dev trying to make a traditional Pokemon game, and they're like, I guess we just make the exact same thing and make it a Switch.
Yeah, we just make a fucking flag in the code. Why would we do anything else? Game Freak's like, you did what?
You can do that?
Listen, we had a good fucking thing going with these people thinking they were separate games.
Well,
they gave us $120 for both. As long as they weren't both, as long as they couldn't do this, everyone was tricked.
There's one last thing actually I wanted to talk about because I think this is important. This is
when Bart shows the shirt that says "down with homework" and everybody's brain breaks.
Thank you. This game is the first remake that will not have any compatibility with Pokemon beyond its Pokedex. So you can't trade any of the newer generations to it. This is a 4th gen and older game. Yeah. That is really bizarre and changes how I think about revisiting these older things. Because what I like to do is, bring in cool guys for the Elite Four revisits, and that sort of stuff. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it
Luckily,
seems like really, really bare bones. Just this is the old game, but looks different. Not better, different.
It seems like maybe they made this game in like 10 months.
Yeah, I don't to any extent assume there was much money going into this, but who knows? Maybe it's still enjoyable.
Do we know that the health bars go down at a normal rate?
There's no way they coded it to go down as slow as it
I'm pretty sure they go at a normal rate. I was skimming.
Okay.
I was skimming leaks out of curiosity, and it was like, yeah, it's that old game. They seem to have put some thought into like rebattle stuff in the post game, at least. Where it's like people were getting rinsed at some of those teams. So I'm like, okay, at least that's good. Game Freak doesn't know how to do that anymore. So I'm glad at least I want to fight every gym leader in Elite Four, and I want them to try.
At least you know that at the end of the game, you want there to be game. At the end of the game, you might call an end game.
Yes, like literally at all. When they're like, here's Rourke. He has 6 Pokemon. I'm like, thank you.
Hey, do you want to do the same tournament again?
No, not really.
Okay, I'll
leave.
I'll leave now.
It's funny because if they do 5th gen, then like in the same way as this, it'll be like, so you are still doing the Pokemon World Tournament, right? The absolutely massive, all these cool people from the other games in version 2. Please. Please, God, you can't be worse than version 2 of those games. I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah.
So hopefully if they continue forward with this, they do that. Also, one of the things the patch changed allegedly, I didn't pay this much attention. They redid the music. I hear it sounds a lot better now, so that's cool.
Now, question: when you say redid the music, does that mean it no longer sounds like they dragged in the MIDI template, so it's the exact same MIDI horn?
Yeah.
Good. Thank God.
Yeah.
We don't need another Sonic Chronicles.
like I'm a good Pokemon liker of recent stuff here. I can't handle that. I didn't. That was like, I might not buy this game because I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
and that's what's on the cartridge.
Yeah, and I was like, God. Aside from me doing videos in which my friend PM does a Nuzlocke and I tell him he's bad because he can't count past 5, I was thinking about not getting this game if it sounded like that.
Yeah. Other things that they added in this patch include the title screen.
Oh yeah, because there's a leaked video saying, look at the epic intro, and it's just the screen, and there's no opening movie.
What? And the ending.
I know someone's like, I found Giratina and it plays the legendary Pokemon music, but not its theme, but we data mined it. The theme is in the game.
Yeah, so this is coming in a little rough.
Oh my God.
I want to know so badly the development time of this game.
I'm going to be honest.
I need to know it.
This is the most fucked up thing I think Nintendo and Game Freak, or the Pokemon company, have done in a while, where I'm like, why'd you do this to them?
Yeah, I don't know.
They could have just been like, yeah, guys, just release it like sometime, in 2022. We got Arceus Legends coming out in 6 weeks.
Yeah, it hurts. Why is this even here?
It's so bizarre to do this to 4th gen.
Yeah, I didn't know that 4th gen was made to be hated on this bad.
I mean, you could have just done this when we wrapped around to 6th gen again.
Yeah, you totally could have done. They were like, we deleted all your friends, and I'm like, man, this gets a 9.
Yes.
I saved so much time not watching a dude dance.
Yes.
I don't know what I don't know what they were thinking with Pokemon X and Y. That is the worst cast of
It's crazy.
I don't understand why they even did this. Like, we have Arceus. We didn't need this game at all.
They thought we did. They were like, okay, we're making Pokemon 4 remake. Oh, this is getting too far out. Let's make it its own thing, but people will still want a 4th gen remake, and they're going to want it sooner. Right. So we have to have this thing.
Yeah, they could just push the idea of a 4th gen remake off another year.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'm in no rush to get 4th gen remake.
Or even 2 years. Like, we don't need this constant, like, Pokemon games coming out every single year.
Yeah, at the very least, they could have just pushed it off to next November.
Right, that would have been fine.
And Pokemon fans are usually fairly reasonable. Like, if you just told them, if they had shown Arceus and been like, this is this time, and then shown like a splash for the remakes and been like later, people would be like, fine. That's what happened with Let's Go. They were like, here's Pokemon Let's Go. We're also making a real one. Don't worry.
Yeah, and that was fine. And honestly, Let's Go is a much higher end product than this is looking, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I was thinking about it, and in general, I feel like they had some fear about Arceus's reception in it being a less traditional Pokemon game, and looking up everything about that, people were fucking going nuts over that. Mm-hmm. Where they're like, dude, I can jump on a giant fish and do trick shots where I throw a Pokeball 50 yards away and just dome this dude.
So here's the thing, right? And what you're saying is perfectly logical, and it's probably where they're coming from, right?
Yeah.
But here's the parallel of what they actually did, and a proper portrayal of their headspace. They're like, my wife is going to be fucking pissed I missed our kids' ball practice. I should come home drunk.
They're like, oh my god! Yeah, first of all, what the fuck are you doing?
Fun fact, twist, it was Tuesday, his kids didn't have ball practice. They weren't pissed at all until he showed up drunk. Right?
This was the situation of, they're really expecting me to come back with, the fucking, the really good restaurant order and the reservations. I should just come back with Boston Market.
This is like, my wife's gonna beat my ass if I don't get her something for our anniversary. I better get her something for me and save it for her.
Yeah, it's dire.
Yeah,
with this update, though, I think I'll check out the game. I think I can play it and not be mad. Because man, those leaks were almost GTA Trilogy tier of bad looking.
Oh, thank God GTA Trilogy comes out this shit everywhere.
Yeah, that's fucked up. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're unaware, that's just irredeemably fucking broken in every conceivable way. Also, it removed every song worth listening to in Vice City.
But see, that's convenient for me and Bob because if we stream it, we don't have to worry about the pressure of leaving the radio.
It's a good thing they took out all the atmosphere.
What were you saying, Bob?
When I was talking to Dan the other day, I was like, wow, they really did, for that trailer, cut out the most pristine looking stuff.
Because here's the thing.
That tricked me. I thought that looked acceptable.
Yeah, Bob and I were talking about it. They showed NPCs in that looked fine.
Yes.
Those were the only ones that were done.
Those are the only ones that look fine. Every other character looks like an alien or an inflatable woman.
It's like, this is the type of thing where you get introduced to a game and then you get the product and it looks really bad. There's a difference between that and the GTA remaster. Because those games will come out like a year later and not like 2 weeks.
Yes.
And you're like, what happened? When the downgrade happened? It already happened. We were lying the whole time.
We just positioned the camera perfectly so you didn't see
that shit when I walked in the room.
we got
Even the comparison they put out very recently, like, fails to trick you, where it's like, here's this really great vaporwave looking shot of like the beach at sunset in Vice City in the original. Here's the new one. It's completely flat, basic Unity lighting or Unreal 4 lighting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And apparently the new controls are literally just like, we just turned on shit that was default in Unity, in Unreal 4. We just turned it on, and that's our improved controls.
Yeah, they set the controls up to be sort of like GTA 5, but because running in the PS2 GTA games involves mashing it to run even faster. I'm pretty sure L3 is the run button in Grand Theft Auto 5, so you're just mashing that?
What?
That's what I'm hearing. The aiming reticle is just Unreal Asset default.
Whoa.
The aiming reticle is that.
I'm surprised it has an aiming reticle. That's a lot to change.
The fact that the screen where you die in Vice City is like wasted and it turns red and there's what looks like an Unreal stock blood splatter.
Yes.
And I'm like, How do you go from here's a Rockstar game that when it comes out, it is pushing as much as it can on animations and visuals. Our remaster will look worse than anyone else in the industry.
Yeah. This game really looks like it was created by machine learning AI.
I think it's the worst looking remaster of all time.
It is.
Probably.
Like,
Yeah,
easily.
it probably even unseats Silent Hill remastered, which had Comic Sans put on side.
Yeah, where that one was so broken because they had old builds that had bugs that got ironed out pre-release on the PS2.
I mean, at least that's the case with that. They put the wrong number on that jersey, so it has an embossment of fucking 7, but then the number on it is 9 in the texture, and it's like, this is unreal. How do you do this?
And it was through this moment that I'm like, I guess I'll buy Pokemon. I'll get Dialga.
That's fine. We got to move on.
Sure.
We spent way too long on Pokemon because it was secretly also GTA.
We smuggled it in.
So weirdly enough, Xbox posted on the store some original Xbox games on back compat, but it hasn't been announced yet, and it isn't available on the One or the Series consoles yet, just the 360. They showed up, there was no price. The next day there was a price, and now it's just the Star Wars games that seemingly don't have a price. The list of games that have been added are Dead or Alive 1, 2, and 3, Manhunt, Max Payne 1 and 2, Oddworld Munch's Odyssey, Red Dead Revolver, which is awesome, Star Wars Clone Wars, and Star Wars Episode 3, and also Thrillville. So those are some pretty good picks, like Max Payne 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. I honestly forgot Red Dead Revolver came to Xbox.
I did too. I thought it was PS2
And
exclusive.
Right?
Munch's Odyssey is a launch title, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Stranger's Wrath is the one that came later.
Yeah.
Like if they bring back doing back compat things, one of my complaints about Xbox will just be gone. 'Cause it's like, finally, it took a year, but finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing I'm most positive about when it comes to Xbox. Like, have you seen
That's
Final
what the
Fantasy
thing
13
everybody
in 4K?
was most positive about.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, when did they stop? 2019? Like
Yeah, it
halfway
was
through
like
2019, they were like,
people were saying 3 years. It's been 3 years since they put back compat up, or at least Xbox original back compat. I think
That's
it's
insane.
any.
I'm
I
like-
think it's any back compat, but
I'm like, good, keep adding that shit, you know? Like this, I will unconditionally praise you for this.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, this feels like the moment that they're going to start doing it again, because it's like, all right, the new consoles have been out for a year. You've clearly been working to make sure every game works and everything, and doing some FPS boosts, which is nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I feel like we're in that avenue now where they can go up, because they done the 20th anniversary stream, or is this like ahead of that?
That's supposed to be Monday, I believe.
Okay, so I can see them going, celebrate the legacy Xbox. Here's all these things. You'll be able to buy them. You can pick them up today. And then they're like, and our backwards compatible team's going to start working on stuff. Maybe they do like PlayStation do a hashtag, like when they used to do hashtag building the list of like, what are things you care about that we could maybe start getting in talks with?
Yeah, if people recall, the reason back compat wasn't there at the launch of the Xbox One is they literally blamed people for having a backlash over the online.
God,
They were like,
so bad.
Oh my God, you awakened something in my brain.
yeah, they literally
I
said,
never heard this.
Oh yeah, no, they literally said we spent so much time fixing the OS so that way it didn't have to be always online, which it still has to be activated online, so you didn't really fix it. But we spent so long doing that, we didn't have time to implement our back compat, so that's why it took an extra 2 years after launch or whatever. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, so what's the excuse this time for not adding any more games?
We had a year of looking at the OS and trying to pretend we're changing it at all.
They first, everyone on the team had to get glasses, and then secondly, they had to upgrade to 4K for the OS. That's what took.
Turns out when they said every game worked, that was a lie, and they've been spending the past year testing games, and they're finally done.
that would be really funny if they just completely oversold their solution.
Because I was willing to give them, you have like a year, but if you still don't have anything, I'm like, okay, maybe you're just never doing it.
Yeah, I was thinking because it had been 3. I'm just sitting here thinking it's never happened.
They hit
again,
my own.
is it?
They hit my own personal deadline by like the day.
I really can't stress how amazing the Lightning trilogy is on fucking Xbox One.
Yeah,
X.
that dog looks so good.
It does. It is the crispest that dog has ever looked.
Yeah, crusty.
Yeah, that's a good word for that dog. We have other Xbox news, the kind that is just unreal. We go to Bob. Bob, what exciting new stuff do we have from Xbox?
They talked about the PC app, finally.
For people who don't know, the Xbox PC app is how you use Game Pass Ultimate on your PC.
Right. Or even if you want to just get a game straight from Microsoft. This is how
Why
you
would
do
you
it.
ever want to
don't
Do
know.
not do that. Do not ever do that.
Okay, Bob.
They're trying to make it acceptable. Soon you will be able to
Accept it.
install games to selected folders,
Yo!
Like a PC. Whoa.
like the PC. Access local files for modding.
Whoa, like a PC.
Yeah.
Oh, like PC.
Downloads will be more reliable.
Oh, like Steam.
I didn't have this problem, but okay.
They say there'll be faster downloads.
Oh, like Steam.
Yeah.
Always good.
Also, there's a tab for cloud gaming.
Oh, like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Boo.
They're like, we're seeing people really dig into this because they can't get next gen consoles. Ha ha ha.
I mean, maybe someone's out there and they're like, I wish I could play Forza Horizon 5 in a way that gets me the next gen fidelity as passed through Vaseline.
Yeah. They also said it'll be easier to find upcoming games, so I have to wonder how hard they were hiding things that are not out yet.
Oh my god.
Bob.
What's up?
No, Bob. No, Bob. Not upcoming games. They were hiding every game.
Oh my!
It took me 20 minutes to figure out how to download Battletoads when I tried it. I'm like, where's the fucking button? You're hiding the fucking button from me.
I'm surprised I found Age of Empires 4, but thankfully it was the banner image.
That helps.
Yes.
It's like walking into McDonald's. You see the big image and you point.
Dude, I would have a bet. I bet you'd have an easier time finding something on Epic, the store that has no cart.
Yeah.
They probably have updated a couple times between our attempts, but it was like, I go on Steam and it's a giant button that says install.
I have a quick question. Quick question. We give Epic Game Store a lot of shit for not having a cart. Everyone does.
Yep.
The Switch doesn't have a cart, but here's the important question. Does the Xbox?
Yes.
It does?
I recall.
Sony
I've never bought more than one thing.
Oh fuck, you're right. It might not have a cart. It might just be direct buy.
Yeah, I don't think it has a cart.
Oh my god!
And so few people use
it's
comments.
Tell me. You need to tell me comments.
Okay, I'm turning on my Xbox.
We're doing it now.
I need to know.
I think it's different when it's not on PC. I think if you have a PC app, you're forcing me to use.
Shut
you
up,
need to
Phil.
have
We
a
don't care.
cart.
We're turning on an Xbox.
Look, the PlayStation has a cart.
Yeah.
So I feel like the onus is on everyone else to have a cart.
I've never bought a single thing through the PlayStation OS in recent memory. I just buy it off the web store.
When there's a sale, I want to fill my cart and then cut back from the list.
Right. And then
store.
as I do, instead accidentally buy the whole cart.
I had to go, oh crap. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check. Okay, there's an add to cart button.
Okay,
Thank God.
okay.
Thank God.
All right.
Holy shit. I was legitimately scared we were doing that thing where it's like, Epic Game Store, you're so stupid, you don't have a cart. And then after saying that long enough, I'm like, wait, the Switch doesn't have a cart. Well, you're both stupid. If there was a third one, I was gonna lose it.
Yeah, I couldn't combat it because I'm like, I remember buying a lot of things in singles.
Yeah, same. I bought Kingdom Hearts 3 on like the New Zealand Xbox store. And then they banned that account. I didn't like that.
The weird thing about all these new features they talk about, they don't have a release date. They just say it's coming soon for Xbox insiders, which that's those people who access the beta, basically.
Yeah.
So it might come in with next month or for them. But I'm like, does that mean we won't see these features on regular players for like 6 months?
Yeah, probably.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Ow.
These are features that anything should have.
Yes.
Any PC-based thing should let me choose what folder I install to.
Let me put it basically like this, and anyone who's an actual, like, mainly on PC gamer will agree. Hands down. No debate. The way it is currently, the Xbox app on PC is antithetical to PC gaming entirely.
Yes.
Everything about the way it's set up is wrong.
Yeah, they put out a promotional video to be like, we're listening. We're getting all this stuff in. It's fine.
I sincerely hope they said it in the exact tone you did.
I wish. No,
It's fine. Everything's fine.
I'm listening. Shut up, Mom.
all right. Should I go to the rest of my news, Dan?
Go ahead.
That Valis collection we heard about a few months ago. That is actually getting a Western release.
It better.
They're teaming up with limited run games to get a physical version of it. They're taking pre-orders for that in January.
Okay.
So sometime next year we'll see the full version with like translations for all of these games. And it's
Cool.
Valis 1 through 3 has a gallery. They're adding the rewind feature and a save, or lets you save anywhere.
That's great. These are all great quality of life features. Valis is real cool.
Yeah, very excited.
I'm really looking forward to hearing that crispy PC Engine voice acting.
Oh,
in
yeah.
modern day.
Hell yeah.
It's good stuff. It's only for the Switch, unfortunately. But hey,
Yeah,
take what we can get.
that's unfortunate, but hey, at least it's coming somewhere.
Right?
And something like that better run well on the Switch.
And yeah, I should hope. Jesus.
Yeah.
And then my final piece of news. Dan Hay,
He's over
What's
there.
up?
that's his guy's name.
Oh, okay.
He's leaving Ubisoft. This is a little bit of a big deal.
Okay.
He's worked there for 10 years as the executive producer of Far Cry, basically the lead man in charge since Far Cry 3.
Bob, I'm scared.
Are you telling me this one man has presided? Yeah, he's basically been there the whole time, says Far Cry.
Yeah, he joined the company with Far Cry 3, basically. He apparently, there's rumors going around, I'm not sure if this is 100% legit, that they were trying to make a Far Cry like the next Assassin's Creed. And
Come on.
Oh my god!
And now I knew it. I knew it as soon as Bob started saying this. Like they're like, we're gonna make Far Cry Infinite. And he's like, I'm gonna go.
yeah,
This is driving me insane
It's time
because
for
I'm-
me to head out.
I didn't know that Far Cry 6 was going to be the last time I could enjoy that franchise, and now I'm really upset. Like, genuinely really upset.
This is fucking insane, you guys. It's like we finally got new consoles that can run all these things at 60. They're capable of so much. They're beautiful. They have, what do you mean everyone's going insane now and making infinite games?
yeah. Every single studio at Ubisoft seems like it's going this path that they just bleed high-end creators. So that's cool.
So what's the next Riders Republic game going to be called? Riders Never Die?
At least if they do something with Riders, that'll probably have a level creator.
Yeah, because that has all the community stuff you can actually make.
Like something like that makes sense to try to make the Infinite platform with.
Not a video game with a story.
Are
and
you
a
guys
goal.
thinking Trials?
Oh, Riders! Oh,
I was
fuck.
me and Dan were just looking at each other like, what are they talking
Now,
about?
here's the best part.
I
We're
was
doing
thinking
it
it's
silently,
Trials.
so I'm looking at Bob, and I'm like, Bob, are you as confused as me? And he looks confused at me, and I'm like, now, is he confused that I look confused, or is he confused by what they're saying, too?
Now-
Oh, no.
yeah, I'm in Trials.
You
Yeah,
see,
Trials
I heard so many people talk up all
Riders
the
will just never. Riders is just dead forever.
No, it's totally coming back.
It just launched.
That shit came out last week, Phil.
Yeah, that shit's going to be fun.
It and steep.
So you're saying we're going to get another name that's going to be, I don't know, Go Drive. That's just going to be called
Yeah,
Drive.
let's begin a single drive.
I like how I heard people talk up like the customization and the creating like the community stuff in that so much that I was like, oh yeah, feels right. I guess you can make a bunch of stuff in there.
I was sitting there having a stroke, and I'm like, they have to be talking about Trials. There's no way I didn't know Writers Republic had like a whole character creator or level creator thing.
Yeah, whatever community stuff they have didn't make it until like launch.
Oh God, we're never seeing Trials again. Trials Fusion was really good.
Didn't the last one have like a weird crossover with Wolfenstein Youngblood, the one nobody played?
Yeah.
Did I make that up?
No, it actually wasn't it Blood Dragon?
Yeah, it was Blood Dragon, where it's
Yeah.
like the Blood Dragon
There was-
kids.
Yeah, that was the crossover they did, so they get the
Oh, that's
vaporwave
right,
aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird, which is why I would like a normal Trials again.
No.
Okay,
Okay. Fine.
fine, be that
But
way.
yeah, now I'm
They made Rising 2 years ago.
Okay, I don't remember Trials Rising, but now the Dark Knight Rising music's going in my head.
Rise.
Hopefully that fucking title screen has a theme like that. Okay, yeah, that sure was. Well, yeah, that was 2 years ago. Well, basically 3, but 2 and 9 months. That's fine. I'm not worried anymore. Thank you, Phil. We're gonna move on to Feels news because KZ has Elden Ring over there. So we're gonna move to Feels so that way we can stick Elden Ring towards the end of this podcast. Hey, Feels.
You have to listen to it all. So Nintendo said they're investing $880 million into expanding game development and $440 million on top of that into non-game ventures. This is not game development funds. This is very explicitly, we're setting up new studios. We're buying real estate to have those new studios in. We're building teams, that kind of stuff. To which I say, fucking good. You didn't have enough for basically all of this gen so far, all of the Switch so far. You've had to have other people make a lot of your games. Some of them have still been really half-baked presentation-wise. Expanding your shit seems like a really good idea.
I think it's a really good idea, especially because, like, looking forward, they're already dipping their toe into the 7th/8th gen territory, right? Of big open world.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the next generation of Switch, they're going to need even more manpower for that. So it's really smart of them to invest in more studio and tech and stuff like that in order to make sure they're up to speed. But yes, they did have a ton of second-party games this gen, but I feel like that's kind of normal for Nintendo.
It's like their big franchises, though. Like Fire Emblem was made mostly by Koei Tecmo.
I think
Smash for the past two of them was Namco Bandai doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
And then you have Zelda, where like half of Monolith Soft worked on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, exactly. You have that, and then the Link's Awakening remake was made by an outside studio, unlike Link to the Past or Link Between Worlds. Whatever
Between Worlds.
Yeah, the 3DS one was made by Nintendo, I think. But actually, I'm not sure. I'll look that up.
Yeah, Grezzo did.
Yes, Grezzo.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. It just seems like they didn't really expand coming from the Wii U 3DS era to the Switch. They were just like, well, now we can all focus on the Switch, so it'll just somehow work out. And then what? No, that is not how things work. Let's beef up those teams.
Yeah, okay, so it looks like Grezzo, as Casey was saying, they did the Link's Awakening remaster, but like they didn't do Link Between Worlds. I think that was internal, but I'm not sure. I'll check.
Probably because that was good.
It was excellent, actually. Let me check.
I wish someday they would put that on something that isn't the 3DS.
100%. While I enjoy that game, I enjoy that game a lot, and it should be in more places. 100%. So really,
everybody enjoyed that game. It got gassed up so much.
It's Link to the Past 2, so I understand. Plus, it's got really good, like, it's got Rabio.
Hell yeah.
Everybody loves Rabio. Mm-hmm. And derpy 2D drawing Link.
Oh, that's, that's real good.
True.
It's fucking goat.
Mad quirky.
Yeah, so that makes sense that they would scale up, get more manpower.
We know what Shoji Meguro's indie game is now. Mm-hmm. It's called Undarkness. It is a stealth RPG, and it seems like it's controlled entirely via RPG-esque menu.
Huh.
Okay, that's cool. I'm excited that he's like, here's my game. And I'm like, geez.
That's cool. I like Shoji's stuff.
The screenshot they showed had like a guy hiding, but he still had the JRPG like command menu.
That's cool. I know the soundtrack's going to be great.
And lastly, this is via VGC. EA is working on a new Fight Night game codenamed Moneyball. They're not working on it until their new UFC game is done. Which means 3 to 4 years probably. I read into this. I read, they literally say like it's gonna be a while before you even see it, guys. We have not even started development. We're not working on it until this new UFC game was done. So it's like no time soon. Apparently the reason they fucking switched to UFC games is because boxers want money to use their likeness, and they can just give the UFC a chunk of money and get all their fighters.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's sad, but makes sense.
Oh.
I'm really scared. First of all, if this game will even come out.
Codename Moneyball.
Moneyball.
Yeah, look, I love Fight Night. I love Fight Night.
Yeah.
I love Fight Night 3. I love Fight Night 4.
You've yelled about Fight Night and getting a new one for a while.
I didn't play Fight Night Champions that much, but I really liked the idea of having like a boxing story you can play through as a creative character. Modern EA, like if I see Rolf to get a better jab, I just won't even buy the game. Like I'll just skip it. I'm not like I have no interest in going into that grinder.
Yeah, they really need to get out of just turning all their games into that. They really do.
You want to bet on Muhammad Ali fighting a robot dinosaur? Moneyball.
Like I want to do the thing. I want to do like I want to tilt the right stick down into the left and then swing it up and to do a hook that gets a really slow motion, high fidelity video of me knocking their head off.
Yes. Man, that could look incredible this gen.
It really could.
Yes.
Yeah. I just really don't need like any. Maybe they're learning because EA's apparently losing the FIFA license soon.
Oh yeah, that's that thing where recently there's like like investor calls with 2K where they're like, we've heard that EA is struggling to come to terms with FIFA. So you guys gonna buy that? And they're like, that would be cool. We have nothing to talk about right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we talked about that and how huge that is.
That would be insane because FIFA is one of the biggest games in the world.
Yeah, and EA's losing the license soon.
Yeah, it was the first time I heard about it like 2 days ago, and I went, holy shit.
Because it isn't actually going to happen until after the next World Cup, I think, because that's when the 10-year agreement happened.
And for anyone who's curious exactly why this is happening, it's money. It's absolutely money. EA made billions in revenue.
Yeah.
And FIFA's like, we're not getting paid enough.
Yeah, and it's like, we know how much you make.
Listen up, bitch.
I feel like we're at the point. I feel like EA fucked up and made too much money. So now FIFA is like, what if we just start a game studio and have them make FIFA?
That would be so funny. Because they lose FIFA. They lose 70% of their money.
And that would be really funny because I bet the NFL would do that too.
That's even that's so funny because it's like when you have this broader view of capitalism and the evolution of it, it's just so funny because it's like the networks, the channels became streaming services. The streaming services needed to make content to get you to sign up for them specifically. Now the brands are making game studios to make games for them specifically.
Yeah, because like a middleman is fine when you don't want to bother with something, but when you're talking about billions upon billions of dollars, fuck the middleman.
Yeah.
Hire some people.
Right. Like I feel like if they try to do that, they won't be able to tap into the exact same level that EA has of like where they with Ultimate Team have made this horrible money like con scheme that's perfect.
It is.
I don't know if anyone can emulate that immediately.
It's basically, well, like, you know, those people who are really bad fan fiction writers and their villain they've invented is impervious. Yes, that's that mode.
Yes.
It's perfect in every way, and there's no way you can defeat him.
Of course, if they, in some way, still hold the rights to every single thing that EA made. They could be like, yeah, this is ours now.
I don't think you can trademark game mechanics.
Yeah, I feel like they probably didn't pay enough to get access to the code base and use of it. Why would FIFA be that savvy?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would they be that savvy 10 years ago?
No.
Yeah, no.
No way.
But this would be really funny if they just lose the FIFA license and it's like, we have to start making a shit ton of real games now. Mm-hmm. Because we lost 70% of what brings in our money.
And I'm sitting here, you know, if we do that, right? If that's the direction the world's going in, McDonald's, get on it. I want to see more MC kids. I want to see McDonald's games. As someone who grew up with a lot of McDonald's merch, I'm totally cool with going back to the 80s in this weird McDonald's just had a shitload of media for kids. Yeah, just make your own game studio. Fucking do it, cowards. You won't.
Yeah, I want the Walmart game.
I don't. That actually would depress me.
I want the Walmart game.
Well, we're going to jump to KZ for news. That was all it feels.
Okay, I'll put Elden Ring in the back of the line.
Thank you.
First up, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker has been delayed 2 weeks to December 3rd if you pre-order, and December 7th if you just get in on the main launch.
Breathing room.
Yeah. Naoki Yoshida announced it at the start of the recent live stream. Started tearing up a bit. He wrote like a big write-up about it, about how they handle content in that game, and he's like, this is the end of an 11-year-long story. And they're not doing a thing where we're gonna finish the arc fully in 3 patches. No, they're just doing all of it in one thing. This is bigger than anything they've ever done, and have had to fight through COVID. And their composer had to fight cancer composing the soundtrack. So what they've had to do is he has been rewriting and redoing a lot of small aspects constantly, and that's just eaten away at so much of their QA time, to the point where he's like, I need to delay this 2 weeks to give them the time that they were owed to actually quality assure every change they've made. He went up to the board of directors and they said, "You're the only person who could pull this shit off." If anyone else is like, "Hey, can I delay it 2 weeks now? The game's coming out in 2 weeks." And they're like, "No, we can't do that." They're like, "But it's you, so sure, go ahead."
You keep Square Enix afloat for that really bad period.
Yeah, you kept us afloat, and this is mainly a digital thing anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be worlds easier to do that for a digital game than a physical one.
Yeah. I feel for everyone who got time off for this specific period.
Yeah, that's the only part where it's like, I hope your boss will let you switch it.
Yeah, that's the part that made him start breaking down on stream, because he directly just talked about how bad he felt, and he described him wanting to constantly adjust things to make it perfect as him being selfish, because this dude's got his whole skin in the game in terms of like investment.
Right.
But yeah, that's fine. It gives me more time to focus on Final Fantasy V, because I finally can play through that and S&T 5 and have some room.
It's just fucking ridiculous, though, right? Like, fucking, just release the game and fix it later. Boots up game. It has MIDI sounds from Brilliant Diamond.
No,
dude.
Holy shit! That and they put out the they put out the launch trailer. And I went, oh shit, is this gonna be my number 1 this year? Oops! Like, Jesus Christ, they're going really hard on this one.
I've been trying to stay mostly blind because I'm not even caught up on the story yet, so I don't want to see something that's spoilers. But I saw fucking Zeal from Chrono Trigger, and then they were like, "We cannot tell you the name of this area." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, they're adding some extra area that's like floating islands and stuff. I forget exactly what that's for, because I kind of tune out when they go through the granular, this is everything you're doing in there. So I don't know about that specific area, but I'm like, is that?
I assume it's probably like Eureka or Bosja.
Yeah, it's like it's one of the options.
Probably something like that.
Yeah, that's the relic weapon stuff, right? Because I try not to dig into a lot of the options.
There's a bunch of other shit to it. Like they're basically structured like normal World of Warcraft in-game things, except much less brutal.
Yeah, but yeah, that trailer was they went in pretty hard, and it didn't feel like we're gonna spoil the entire thing for you, like a lot of other Square Enix trailers. Like, even Shadowbringers kind of did that a little bit. But that's that news. Let's move on to the other Square Enix news that's a little pathetic. Marvel's Avengers has confirmed, but since then released a trailer for Spider-Man, because it's coming out the end of the month, on November 30th. They put out this trailer.
That trailer looks really bad. That trailer looks so bad.
I was shocked at how bad that trailer is. You think
I was like, is this Spider-Man 3 on Xbox 360?
One.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
I have not seen this trailer. I am now playing it live as we record this, so that way I can. You can talk. I will just make sounds over it.
Okay. One, I think the suit's okay. I don't know who's voice acting in it, but it sounds like the director told them to try and sound like Yuri Lowenthal Spider-Man, and that really bothers me. Where I'm like, is that really where you're at? And then the last third is like showing the freedom of swinging, and it looks so unbelievably slow. I was like, how did you do this?
I mean, it's clearly
Even, like,
not in
the
game.
Stuff looks really bad.
But yeah,
it's rough.
Every other trailer that they've done to show off that game has sold me on something better than this one did. And this is Spider-Man. Yeah, I was like, wow. This is weak, and this is your PlayStation exclusive.
Is this the final thing that they're doing that's on the roadmap?
On this current roadmap, yeah. It's this and like a raid where you take on Claw from Black Panther. Because he's their Taken King.
Okay, man. Yeah. Also, it's another symptom of all your suits just look like they're weird knockoffs of the MCU. Like he has the same eyes. The only thing they changed on the Spider-Man suit is like the logo looks a little different and he has black hands. It's like, come on, do anything to make me excited for a Spider-Man suit.
I know there's a loud chunk of people that hate the advanced suit in Spider-Man PS4 because it's a big white spider on it. But I'm fine with that, and I like that it gives it its own identity.
Yeah, no, it looks unique. You need to do that.
It's like
there have been so many good Spider-Man suit designs. What are you doing? Just being like, yeah, this is our new one. It looks the same.
I mean, I don't hate this one in the same way that I hate the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit, the fucking the dumb basketball thing. But I wouldn't say this one's necessarily great or good. It's just a
this one kind of has the basketball thing going on the blue though.
Oh,
so it has that aspect of it.
I kind of just looked at it and went, okay. I'm like, it doesn't look abjectly terrible on my one viewing of this trailer, but then everything was just so slow.
Yeah, I noticed the whole thing feels like it's playing at 2/3 speed or something.
Yeah, that's my main issue where I'm like, with Spider-Man, I think you are a fast character.
Right. Yeah.
And your swinging just feels like you're swinging on Ambien.
Yeah, and it's not even just the swinging, it's also the choreography for this like cutscene fight. It feels like it's in slow motion for Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's really lame.
It's really weird. I'm very fascinated to see how the content around Spider-Man. Bob, I say we call their shot. This is the last thing they're putting in the game. It's time to give it a chance.
Probably.
Honestly, Dan, I feel like this is where you call your shot.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident when the people who published this go, it was a real mistake teaming them up with
They just last week said it was a bad idea.
Yeah, that sounds like there will not be like a roadmap after this. This will be the end.
I'm cutting the redemption arc of Anthem short. We're not going to give them the rope of, we're making a new one. It's going to be fine.
Unless it somehow ships like 3 million copies on Sony platforms when this comes out, which is always possible with fucking Spider-Man.
So here's what I assume. If that happens, they'll go, thank you for the money. And do no more content.
Thank you for the money. Crystal Dynamics, you get to make a linear game. And they're like, thank God.
Thank God. What are we making? You're making a Green Goblin origin story.
Bandai Namco threw out a fucking PNG that told me that Jump Force, the 2019 Game Awards Fighting Game of the Year nominee, is dead. It will be dying on February 7th, and then shortly after, on August 24th of next year, the online servers will go down too.
Oh no.
They fucked us so bad with this game. Also, they just revealed today that Xenoverse 2 has sold 8 million copies.
And we'll be getting more DLC next year.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's its job.
Yeah, it's like it's a game people want to play.
That game, if they had just not gone with this stupid fucking hire this man art style for no reason and had bothered to dub the game, like it could have easily done these kind of numbers.
Oh yeah, if you make a game that looks somewhat good. Like if it just had this, like Xenoverse 2 doesn't look good.
No,
but it looks like Dragon Ball.
Yeah. You need to be able to mistake it for the things these people are from.
This is what I want in a crossover fighter. I want it to kind of look like whatever they came from and not have to see their awful teeth.
But yeah, no, it's real dire.
The only character that makes sense to look like Jump Force is Toguro.
Yes, correct. Objectively correct statement.
I keep reading they did a bunch of DLC for this thing too. Like they freaking Yoruichi from Bleach.
Did so many characters.
They brought in a shitload of characters, and I'm like, how? That's guys.
Because they have a whole magazine.
It's just such a bad game.
Yeah, it's rough. Within 24 hours of this announcement, Epic announces that Naruto's going to cross over in Fortnite on November 16th.
Yep.
And I'm like, hell yeah, Rasengan time.
They're gonna have the 3 main characters of a Naruto playable: Naruto, Sasuke, and Kakashi.
Oh, hell yeah.
Aren't you missing one there?
No.
Okay.
Are you talking about Sai? The other member of Team 7 from Shippuden?
No, nobody ever talked about him.
Sai sucks so bad. I forgot he existed until now. That's the most fucking pathetic. Oh, right, Sasuke's off being evil. Who do I put on the team also? I I guess this nobody who's just like Dollar General Sasuke.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, the guy,
the most
that
deluded
works
Sasuke we could find.
The guy who works for the sleeper cell. Yes.
There was also a really funny thing when Epic announced this. I guess Rooster Teeth tried to get like a Ruby collab with them and got shot down. So they posted like a pissy animated GIF on the official Ruby account under this announcement.
Oh,
it was really pathetic.
That's really pathetic. Yeah, you know, Naruto getting in, it gets us closer for Bleach getting
I
in.
know,
So I'm very
man.
excited.
We are so close to having Kenpachi Zaraki with an Uzi.
I'm like, that's neat. You get the fucking Bleach characters. That's neat. And they're like, no, you don't understand. This season, we're going to Menos Grande. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Yo, can we get a bout in Fortnite?
no, shut the fuck up.
I refuse.
what if for one of your like accoutrements, you have the bird,
Ah, yes.
the little baby doll bird?
Ooh.
That'd be great.
Oh man, they announced that Yu like live action Netflix thing. Let's do some Yu regular into the Fortnite.
Nothing I want more than Kuwabara doing that dance.
Also, it's really funny when it's like, yeah, the Fortnite characters look closer to anime than your anime game Jump Force. So what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, Bob, I'm not sure if you know this. Jump Force is made on Unreal Engine 4 and Fortnite.
Go on.
No, that was it.
Okay.
Okay. Good for Fortnite. Getting important cultural touchstones.
Of course, people are retweeting, we are Fortnite gamers. Yeah, Fortnite gamers.
God.
Right here, right now. Build. What a good fucking track. God, that band fucking rules.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I love them so much. All right, so there. By the time this comes out, they've already gone through the technical test stuff for Elden Ring, but they did previews ahead of it where they let like outlets and YouTubers like play that for seemingly as long as they want. Because one of them's like, I played 40 hours.
Yeah, I was listening to one who's like, I played 70 hours.
Yeah,
It's like, whoa.
yeah, and holy shit, this video game is insane. When they're like, they said it was 1/6 of the map, but looking at the footage in the trailer where they showed the full map, I think it's more like a 1/12. And there's constantly rewards and things to do in the open world, and it's like Breath of the Wild where you look at something in the distance and go, I'm gonna go see what the hell that thing is, and it's something cool. And the combat looks so much more revamped than even like Dark Souls 3. You're jumping around the geometry to find entrances to stuff. The magic is broken again for the first time since Demon Souls.
Yeah, I saw where he has something where he just summons a dragon head that spews fire, and he can do that while he's on his horse.
Yes, and the fact that it's like as soon as you start the game and you get through the tutorial, there's just a horse dude that can fuck you up, and it's like I could spend 15 tries trying to fight him here, or I could come back later with my horse and have a horse duel. And I'm like, this game looks like it's gonna be. It looks like a 10 on entry. Everything about it looks so sick. The different parries and stuff. They have like a new mechanic now where you're guarding with your shield, and if you hit right after guarding an attack, you do an extra hard attack against the enemy to like fuck up their posture. So they're like, ooh, yeah, they're like upgrading that stuff. And the fact that you can summon little spirit dudes to like fight with you that have their own like separate health is great for me as someone who doesn't necessarily want to summon anyone or engage in co-op or PvP at all, that I can do some of that stuff. There's a ton of bosses and a ton of like little mini dungeons that then take you to other parts of the map, and you can fast travel anywhere. And this seems like a dream game that I would make up that they would base Dark Souls 3 off of, where it's like, this is massive, is crazy. Also the fact that every single person said this is their first RPG, where it's like the amount of build variety and choice you have in this game.
Oh shit.
Where it's like, yes, this matters. And you know, strength person is going to focus on these specific things, or a magic person's going to have all of this. Or if you do the faith build, you get access to really insane moves that other classes could only get if they beat the whole demo.
Did you guys see the cat boss?
Yes. shield.
No, I did not.
It's like
I did not
What
see
is that? Like a cat statue with a great sword?
Yeah, it just floats around in front of him as he floats up and down. It's really funny. It's like, what is happening?
It has some insane, like, limited animation stinger.
That's really great.
It's great because you enter the room and it just does the foreboding music, and it's like, what the fuck is that over there? Oh my god. It's killing. There's an enemy from Balls 3D in this where it's just a bunch of orbs that make a pillar and it just kind of moves. I watched one preview. I think it was it might have been like Maximilian or someone who's like, I found glowy white spots of footprints that are going really fast around these rock formations, and I couldn't figure out what it did. I watched another preview. It's like, I thought you had to match it, but no, it's an invisible dude running, so I hit him in the face and it killed him. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, this game fucking rules. I'm so excited to be able to like get the feeling of discovery that these games somewhat had, but in like an open world way. It feels like they understand what an open world game should be more than 90% of all open world games.
We now go to Dan for his cutting commentary on Elden Ring's network test. I watched Pat Starethat play it, and there was a dragon, and he looked really cool. I'm going to pick the game up.
That was where I was at when they're like, yo, a dragon just can show up.
I was like, yo, this dragon looks incredible.
and now they've made it so that when you can do like your critical attack, that part of their body glows.
Yes.
Instead of it just being a sound cue. And I was remembering every single time Field talks about a game with combat, he's like, I want it to sound like a gunshot. And then I think there's some game that does something where the sound design is perfect when you get a good hit. What is it? Oh, yeah, Souls games.
Yeah.
When you do a crit,
Yes.
it sounds like you cracked the sky.
Yeah. It sounds like God slammed a door on your life.
Yes, that is how it
And it's just, it's so fucking good. And the fact that they're like, because you have the horse in this game, unless you do like 2 items, no one can invade you. And I'm like, they're making the perfect video game. I'm so pumped for this. I'm shocked at how much of a jump in terms of a sequel or the next type of game they're making that this one is, and it's a last gen game, so it's gonna run really great on PS5.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, they really need the power of the PS5.
The power of next gen.
But I'm starting to think that last gen's super fucked. When one of the things I saw was sometimes it took me like 9 seconds to load after a death.
Yeah, I need to see Lance McDonald's stream and other stuff. That's the Bloodborne Dark Souls 3 hacker. He was playing it on a vanilla PS4.
Ooh.
However, they did the ultimate thing where they're like, we have your checkpoints. The checkpoints will like tell you where to go. Sometimes there will be like a guiding light that shoots out. So it's like, that's the general direction. But they added like a new checkpoint type. They put them next to all the bosses.
Oh my god, this isn't even a Souls game
So,
at that
so
point.
when you die, you get to choose, I would like to revive at the last, I think it's like something of grace, or this thing that's like right next to the boss, so they just killed boss runs.
Oh my God.
Thank God. They've been getting closer and closer to this with each fucking game, where it's like, okay, we'll put one pretty close. Okay, we'll put one right next to it, and you can run past the enemies, but there's you still can fight them if you want to. Be like, fuck it, just put them right outside the door. Who cares?
Yeah, there's seemingly no punishment for death aside from losing your soul equivalent in this, which is runes. And they put where they are on the compass. So I know where they are. And I can go to them. You know, like Neo does. And I'm like, this is great. This is wonderful. I like how PvP's so fucked up. Their answer for it was if someone invades you, they get 10 red fingers. They use that, and it makes them load and teleport in the general vicinity you're at, because this world's so large that they might get lost trying to find you.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll still be really hard to find you, but hey, whatever.
But they like teleport you like well within the range. However, people have already found out it's fucked up because you can use it, and it activates so fast that you could do it mid-combat if you were losing and leave. But yeah,
I hope we get some really, really funny scene of somebody riding a horse at top speed, and then an invader just spawns like off a cliff next to them and falls.
Yeah. The only tragic thing is you cannot use horses at all whenever you're playing like multiplayer.
Huh.
That's why the invasion thing had to be changed up. They're like, well, otherwise we'd have to make it so that you would immediately get your horse erased when you got invaded. So we're like, whatever. People opt in if they want it. they want to do their Fight Club, they can just do it like that. And I'm like, good, you have enough problems.
Yeah.
You have roaming bosses now.
FromSoft is like the of every developer I can think of. FromSoft is the one that gives me what I want most in terms of loot. So them doing an open world game is really fucking exciting for me because it's like, you understand that if I go through some stupid bullshit and go through one of your fucking horrible side routes full of horrible things that can kill me easily, you should put a sword that is nowhere else in the game there.
The fact that this,
yeah, with single, like, only find a thing in one area stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely feels a lot better than randomly generated loot.
Yeah.
Like fucking, if Neo just had Dark Souls' loot system, it'd be like,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm so pumped. They're like, there's more armor and weapons in this than any other one of these games. I'm like, yes. Give me cool stuff.
So yeah, it's going to be really neat when I jump from Demon Souls to this.
Yes, it will! When you experience a game where apparently the wind will spawn wolves that fly out of the wind and start attacking you for no reason.
Yeah, that shit looks crazy.
A game where you can jump.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
People are like, dude, the bow has never been better now that you can jump and start shooting.
Yeah, this game looks really good.
Yeah, it. Oh my god. Also the fact that when you fight groups in this game, to make it worth it to go and fight groups of enemies, they're like, if you beat them, we replenish your health restores. Because otherwise people are like, oh, I would just skip it because this game uses Estus like every other Souls game. But it's like, no, it comes back if you actually engage in the content. Yeah, that's about pretty much everything interesting they showed from those previews. I don't know how that game looks like that. I mean, they put out Sekiro like 2 years ago.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Big Thing to Mention. Bob and I in the next week will do streams.
Yeah, we might even be able to do Babylon's Fall. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. We might be able to do Babylon's Fall. We might be able to do Bright Memory Infinite. KZ, what do you got going on?
By this point, I'll definitely been playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm going to keep on doing that, and then the next game on the list will be Final Fantasy 5. We'll be checking that out. Really excited to just dig into some 5s. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I just commissioned an emote that's going to be Jack Frost holding a gun.
Phil, what do you got going on?
I'm still working on things. Don't worry about it.
Okay. We will touch bases again in the future.
Yes.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, what's up?
Did you know Sonic 3 has that song from our outro? Whoa. A lot of people found out last week.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yep, here it comes again. Oh, no! Ah! Thank you for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support us, head on over to www.patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get extra podcasts and early access to our anime podcast, Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool. Head on over there and become a $5 backer or podlord today.
The executive producers for this month of GigaBoots are Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Live Action Muito Real, Completely Normal Adam, Cooper Tank, Zilter, and Virvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these patrons. If you want to become an executive producer for an obscure but powerful YouTube channel, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.